I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, please call. Here. 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 Move to item number 2, public comment. All questions and comments restricted to mayor or speaker within 3 minutes to comment, and speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak. Please come to the podium.
Couch. Since we've had a problem with the treasurer, I'd like to know, is he still being paid, number 1? Number 2, are there 2 signers on the police pension checks? And number 3, if so, who signed the majority of the checks made out to the treasurer? That's all I have.
All right. Village treasurer. Mohan, is the village treasurer still being paid?
Use the mic, please.
I'm sorry. In the village treasurer is not being paid.
That's not what
Last paycheck was March or April. I will get back with the correct details.
Everybody's no longer being paid?
No, moving forward, it is not being paid.
Okay, and then police pension checks, they require how many signatures?
Police pension checks requires 2 signatures.
Okay. And I guess the checks in question, who signed the majority of them?
Majority of the checks were signed by Mr. Jim Regal and Sergeant Rebecca Sainsbury.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments?
How old is that?
Judy Cat here. Meeting after meeting, I have discussed the mold in the police station, and it seems to have been twisted somewhat, and I would like to straighten a few things out. When I talked to you, Mayor, you told me you were going to contact the engineer, and he could do some things. I also checked in the medical books to make certain what I was saying was the truth. And black mold is deadly. I'm not saying there's black mold in the police station. I never said that. I never blamed you, Mayor, and I never blamed the chief of police. He hasn't been here long enough to even know what's going on. I asked that somebody take the initiative to have the mold checked to identify it, since there are many different kinds of mold. I also asked that when the mold is checked to find out what steps need to be taken to correct the situation. I did not blame anybody. I did not go over heads and contact departments over your head or anything else. There was a board meeting, you went into closed session. I walked over to Jim Zarnick and started talking to him about it because you told me you were going to contact him. He told me he knew nothing about it, but that he would talk to you about it. I left it alone until I didn't hear anything, and then I brought it up again. I have made it very plain many years ago. I will not stop when I have an issue that I believe in, and it regards our police department. I don't care who the chief is, I don't care who you put in there. I'm not going to stop when I think there's an issue. I have been accused of a political ploy for what I'm doing. Politics has absolutely nothing to do with this. There are 3 deaths and 1 still fighting cancer that work in that building, or worked in that building. And I know your supporters, you know, there's cancer all over. You know, a lot of people don't go to our police station, which is a stupid remark.
10 seconds.
But since I can't get any answers and everybody's making a big deal out of it, I took it upon myself to contact the EPA.
You got something to report on that, right?
Hello?
Okay, what's your report? All right,
Y'all ready?
good,
Ready?
good.
Larry Stewart, Sauk Village, even though people talk a lot of other stuff. I've been here forever, my family's been here. You know, the only thing is we've been persecuted in many different ways. Okay? But I just want to talk about, wait a minute, first I need the agenda. We can't talk about whatever we choose for the first 3 minutes. My purpose is the upcoming election that you are running for re-election, Mr. Mayor. Alongside you is one of your trustees, a female's running. That means she's running against you, even though she votes everything you put in there. Everything. She supports you more than she supports herself. The thing is, when are you going to vote for her? I think she needs to be aware of that, unless she ain't really running. It's just smoke and mirrors. The other issue is, I love that we got that man put in jail, that treasurer. Nobody knew about the money but him. That was big. Nobody counted the money but him. Nobody. Outsiders had to come in and put him in jail. How many other things are missing in Sauk Village? Do we have to have an outsider, which they're here? Y'all just don't see them. I am. But I'm not an asshole like you. So you can whisper me and talk all you want. See, because you all come together like a clan. That's what you all are. Clan. Against real people, minorities. I'm waiting on real men to stand up and show me what they're about. For real people. Keep voting against just 3. You 4. Keep voting against 3. I want to hear your comments in comments. As you hear, there are other comments also. But guess what? That's part of the clan that run the senior building. The clan that run the senior building. How much time I got left? Somebody says none. You say good. Who do we believe? We got to believe the
10
clan.
seconds.
The clan wins.
All right. Again, hang on. For the public, I apologize, they had put up with the foul language from the individual who broke the podium, by the podium. Again, the first remarks about the upcoming election we're not going to respond to because it's just politicking. That's all he's up here doing is politic during his speech time. Police and pension, as we've explained to everyone, that is a totally different board, separate from this village board, separate from our finance department. They have their own board, they have their own attorneys, they have their own checking accounts, they have their own signers, which we've already found out tonight. The second signer was Rebecca Salisbury, who signed the majority of those checks that went to the treasurer. So we don't approve those checks here. Those are approved through a totally separate board. It's a totally separate, if you want to call it, committee or whatever. So when it comes to the police and fire pension, we have nothing to do with it. So, okay, thanks.
Just a quick question with respect to the checks that you're saying that Sergeant Salisbury signed for the Police Pension Board. If it's a totally separate body, then how did this body come across those checks? And if they saw the checks, how did they obtain them?
Your business.
All right, you know what? No, we're not gonna have back and forth, okay? So children will be escorted out, I'm just gonna put it that way, all right? So, when it comes to police and fire pension, they have, like I said, they've already got their own separate accounts, and I'm sure everything will come out. There's still an investigation going on. So, we're waiting for the investigation to end. But we know that there's still an investigation going on, so, you know. All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none? All right. All right. We've got the report tonight. I'll probably did most of my stuff at the very end. But tonight I have an appointment as to those were to approve. Daryl Coney as a zoning board of appeals commissioner. That's for a motion to approve. Motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second? Any questions or comments?
I have a question, Mayor. Is he here?
He is not, he could not make it tonight.
Pardon me?
He could not make it tonight.
Because I was just wondering, because the other one, last time we did it, we had an appointment and that person wasn't here, so just wanted to see, this person, I have no idea who it is, so.
He's been at a lot of events, so. No.
Question.
Trustee.
I know that we made an appointment for the police commission with Chuck Thompson. And from my recollection, I only remember you asking us at one time to vote to make him available to fill that vacancy. How many times do you have to make the announcement there's a vacancy for a commission or any other position to be filled before we can vote? And does every commissioner on every commission have to come before the board to be approved for whatever commission they're filling the vacancy seat for?
Commission, okay, first of all, commissions are appointed by the mayor with consent and approval of the village board. And usually I make announcements, a couple announcements for the zoning board, we made announcements, I think, in the last 2 or 3 meetings, that there was an opening, and I was accepting members.
Okay, so the head of the commissions can't make a recommendation to you based on letters that they've received and turned into you. I know you're the mayor, and I know that you make the appointments, but I'm saying the head of the commissions, the different commissions in the village, they can't make a recommendation to the mayor based on letters that they have received.
They can make recommendations.
Because I do hear commissioners announcing that there are vacancies on different commissions, and then we are asked to vote. And I haven't heard you ask in too many meetings for our approval, only maybe once or twice. I'm just asking, is there a number of times that it has to be asked, or brought up by you and not the heads of the commissions?
The commissioners are appointed by the mayor with the consent and approval of the village board. They're not appointed, the chairs of the committee or the commissions can make recommendations, but they're not appointed by the chairs, they're not appointed by the commission. Commissioners are appointed by the mayor.
I understand that, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking specifically, I think a number of times as the mayor that you have to bring it before the board that a vacancy is available. Are there a number of times that you'll announce it twice in 2 meetings, 5 meetings, 1 meeting before we actually vote for that person? This is the first time I've heard of this person's name tonight too. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, usually, I think we announced it at the last 2 meetings.
The position, but not the
The last 2
person.
meetings that we announced that there was opening on the zoning board.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee.
you're saying that, excuse me, you're saying that the mayor will come from the board for appointment of commissioners and all department heads. Is that what you're saying? and you consensus of the board.
Correct.
So,
Those are their appointments by the mayor with the consent approved of the village board.
Question.
Trustee?
We just had a commissioner appointed to a commission and he didn't come before the board, that I can remember. He just turned in a letter and was put on that commission.
All the commissioners have been before the village board.
Okay.
Renewals are usually they just renew their commissions. But anyone new filling a vacancy are up to the village board.
This wasn't a new,
No, Mr. Mayor, I do have to ask that question. You said all commissioners that were appointed came before the board, or just the name came before the board?
Just I presented
The name?
their names.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, it's the village clerk, please call roll.
Burgess.
No.
Jones.
no.
Myers. Tate.
No.
Washington.
No.
Williams.
Motion fails. Mr. Coney, no. In fact, Mr. Coney was the gentleman who was standing next to you during the event we had out here for Memorial Day. That's who Mr. Coney was.
Okay, well, that's why I was asking you, because I've never seen him, or, I mean, I don't even know, I don't ask everybody standing next to me their name.
No, I told you, he's been to quite a few events.
Okay, but I mean, if you hadn't said that that was the gentleman, that might have been different. That's why I was asking you, is somebody that, only thing I'm asking, Mayor, if you're going to make whoever this commissioner, whoever the commissioner may be, if you're going to make a agreement to be part of the village and serve the village, the least you can do is show up and say, you know, I know they don't have meetings every month, but at least you can show up the time that you get ready to get sworn in.
He had other commitments, he could not make it tonight, so we're going to try to get him at another board meeting to come get sworn in, but I'll let him know that the board chose not to accept him. All right, move to village clerk, Debbie Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, as far as the free rain barrel program is concerned, I'm getting lots of calls and wanting to know why they haven't received their rain barrels. I actually talked to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, and it's taking up to 12 weeks to get the rain barrels. There is such an overwhelming response for the free rain barrels that they've bit off a little bit more than they could chew. But I apologize for the delay. At first they said it would be up to a 4-week delay, and then we set up to a 6 to 8 week delay. And I'm still getting calls from people who haven't gotten the rain barrels that we ordered in April. So I called them again, and they said, well, actually it's closer to 10 to 12 weeks. But I still want to follow up with people who haven't gotten their rain barrels, so that because it's been such a long time since the time you originally ordered, anybody who has not gotten their rain barrels, please either call my village phone number, which is 708-753-5421, or just email me at dwilliams@saukvillage.org, or let the front desk know by leaving your name and your phone number so I can respond. I am going to make a concerted effort next week to try to get an update on the rain barrel situation. And again, I apologize for the delay. And as far as, I've had a lot of phone calls and comments also regarding the politics and the behavior at the podium and in the audience and on the board, as far as racial comments, political comments, and otherwise offensive language. And it offends me, and I'm sure it offends a lot of people in the audience. And these people are going to stop coming to the meetings because they feel that it's offensive. I would just hope that all of us, as a board and as residents of Sauk Village, I just want you to know the offensive comments, the racial comments, the political comments will not be part of the minutes. My job is to record the minutes for the business of the village. And that is not the business of the village, and will not be in the minutes. So when you get up and you make your racial, political, or offensive comments, do not look for them in the minutes. As far as swearing, I think we all need to learn that it's not the best thing for our residents to see us swearing, or other residents to see us swearing. But I have been getting a lot of complaints, and I sure would hate to see the residents who really want to be a part of these meetings stop coming because of what happens when they get here. Thank you very much for swearing. Please turn it forward.
Thank you. Move to the village attorney, Attorney Matt Burton.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing to report tonight. Thanks.
All right, village engineer, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Regarding the Torrance Avenue Railroad crossing, I was to look into that. So I notified the Illinois Commerce Commission of the deteriorated condition of that crossing. I also requested that the railroad tracks be removed as a permanent solution to prevent future pavement deterioration. The Illinois Commerce Commission quickly responded by requiring the Norfolk Southern Railroad to remove the abandoned tracks in accordance with the previous Surface Transportation Board ruling regarding this. Norfolk Southern Railroad was directed to coordinate this removal with Sauk Village and was actually requested to contact me regarding it. I have not heard anything. Has anyone else heard anything? No? Okay. All right, then I will follow up. I'm sure Norfolk Southern doesn't want to jump at the chance, but it's nice that we've got the ICC on our side and that they're going to push this along. So I will follow up with that and get back to you on what I hear. And then just to reiterate something that I reported on last time, at the last meeting, the investigation work to reduce the infiltration and inflow in our sewers, that is going to start within the next month. So we'll look for that to start too. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee.
First of all, Jim, I thank you very much for jumping on that real quick. That was great. The second thing, who's responsible for the Lincoln drainage ditch to be dug out every now and then? Is that solely Lincoln, or do we have to say something to them, or so we need to talk to them then? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the last time the work was done, they were the ones who did it.
Okay, because there's a lot of people complaining about it stopped up, and they didn't know if it had anything to do with their sewers, and I tried to let them know that Kevin's not here tonight, but I tried to let them know that that has nothing to do with that, but I don't know about this detention pond that's right out here. I don't know if that flows into the Lincoln drainage ditch or not. I'm not sure, but it probably just goes to groundwater, doesn't flow anywhere because it is a detention pond. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know.
Yeah, that eventually makes its way to the Marywoman Reservoir. 30.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Move to Village Administrator, Director of Public Safety, J.W. Freeman.
Mr. Mayor and Board of Trustees, I want to start with UCR reported crime. Year to date, reported UCR crime is 53% lower than UCR crime reported for the same period last year. And burglary and theft are down 72% for the same period a year ago. In reference to black mold, after I heard about that, last Thursday I called Jim's office. He was out and I talked to one of his engineers. And on this Monday, a gentleman came out to investigate the black mold. Chief Kowalski will talk about that in his report, what he found. Vacant housing, this is going back to the blueprint plan. The village's master vacant list as of June 1, 2016 shows 412 vacant homes. 378 are actually vacant. 334 houses are vacant occupied. That means they didn't have an occupancy permit nor a water count, and we're working on dealing with that issue. The scavenger contract update. As I stated at the last village board meeting, Sauk Village failed to execute the terms of the contractual agreement with the scavenger vendor, which is Republic. It's failure to execute those terms, which is adjustment on an annual rate increase and failure to provide actual housing counts, resulting in non-payment of services to the vendor of $218,941.80. Months ago, when I found out about these deficiencies, I made the necessary corrections. I have also been meeting with the vendor in an attempt to bring this matter to a fair and equitable solution for both parties. After considerable negotiation, the vendor has agreed to forgive the full debt owed by the village in exchange for a new 10-year agreement that will provide exact language spelling out each party's obligation. Ordinance resolution amendment. We have made recommendations for requests to not exceed $15,000 to update our civic computer system on all financial components of the village, which has been submitted to our attorney and sent to the Finance Committee. And we're hoping for a recommendation from that committee to come up pretty soon. Also, Mr. Rhodes secured a $35,000 lighting grant from the Illinois Clean Energy Commission. Staff has completed the necessary paperwork for the county for no bid application for 3 parcel lands in TIF number 4. Petition for tax deeds will be filed by the end of June. The Owens Group has completed the employee handbook and is in the final stage of the completion of the Sauk Village Personnel Manual. The presentation will be ready for the board in mid-July. Owens Group is assisting us in establishing department safety committees which will meet monthly and be assessed by the Owens Group quarterly in efforts to control budgetary expenditures and subsequent injuries and accidents. We have also made recommendations to the mayor's office regarding employee insurance. At reviewing, the mayor will make the recommendation. I have conveyed to staff that beginning of August, quarterly budget reviews with each department head will begin. I have been defined as staff's central point of contact with CalCom. The purpose is to assure strict contract compliance by CalCom. On a positive note, I am pleased to report that as of this date, all emergency communications are functional in the police department. I'm sure they're going to have to work out some bugs that time go on, but so far today they're all working. I am requesting our attorney to draft a resolution for the disposal of police vehicles and seized property, or I will be. Budget to revenue collection for the period from 1/1 through 6/1/2016 versus 2015 of about 22%. So Mayor, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. Go to reports of trustees and board committees.
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions for the village administrator. The first one was when you talked about the crime being down. Was that like it was 2 months ago? There was a misprint, and that's what we're going on that same misprint or whatever it was, because it said before the last time that it didn't actually, it was just reported wrong. So is this also the same piggyback that we're talking about in this particular period of time?
Let me start by saying that police are the people that stop and prevent crime from happening in communities around this country. With reference to the specifics about where these numbers come from, these are actual numbers based on what Chief Kowalski has collected based on his number of arrests, and as communicated or as compared with the updated crime, which is still up 53%.
The reason I was asking, sir, is that Mr. Chief Kowalski stated that the reason those numbers were so high is because they were entered in wrong at that last period of time. It wasn't that actually crime stopped all of a sudden, that they were entered wrong, and then when they came out with the new entry, that's where they took the number from. That's all I was asking. Is that the same type of scenario that we're talking about?
I would defer to Chief Kowalski on that one.
Okay, and then the CalCom, we pay them, I don't know how the exact amount, every month, and you just gave a report. Can we at one time at least have them come and give a report, a status or something to the board? Because before we used to have someone that would do that. Now we don't, so because we don't have, communications anymore, we have it doing by CalCom. We don't get anybody here from the ambulance service, and we don't get anybody here from CalCom, but yet still, we still pay. And because I wanted a little bit more detailed report, because I keep hearing people tell me every day out in the streets they're having problems with the dispatch service, and you're saying everything is fine except for a few bugs. So I need somebody that's that actually works there stating we can ask them. I don't have to browbeat you. I need to ask them or find out from them, because a lot of people have called the dispatch service and they would ask 1,000 questions before they actually dispatched anything. So, and that takes time. So that's why I was wondering. I'm not asking you, and I'm not questioning you because you don't do the calling. You're not in the call center, but we need to know, because that has happened, and I get a lot of people that stop me on the street or whatever and say that, what's wrong? We thought this was going to be that way, and it isn't. And also, my third question, the Owens Group, you said that they completed the handbook, and now they're doing something with the employee manual. Is this something that we have to vote on, and you're not, and maybe this is to the mayor, is this something we have to vote on, this manual, or when this manual is completed, it becomes law?
No, we have the board of commissioners, the board of trustees, and the mayor will have to review this and approve it or disapprove. Reference to CalCom, we'll see if they can get somebody over. I don't know the ambulance service. Who is the ambulance service? You said they
But,
haven't come over here.
no, that's it, they don't come, but I don't get a lot of phone calls. I mean, a lot of phone calls and people telling me about buds, but we do get a few. And the only time we see them is during contract time. But CalCom is a little bit more important because that's a dispatch, and it can be, you know, something that either they can answer some of the questions or let us know what's going on, because I get tired of hearing people tell me that, you know, this is not, I called, they asked me everything, they want, you know, give me all kind of questions before I just ask them to please come. And that's what we used to do when we had our dispatch service. We used to call, because they used to do some of the same thing. They used to call me and said, please come out. And that's all they wanted them to do. So I'm just asking, can we get someone, because you're saying that everything is fine and the bugs are not, I don't know who's telling you that, but it's the people themselves that actually contact our CalCom or call the dispatch service are getting problems.
My response to that, Mr. Trustee Burgess, is that I never said everything was all right. I said all the computers are working, it's up to date as far as getting everything operating. Doesn't mean it's excellent. We're going to have bugs when you make a major transformation from yourself dispatching to something like that, like the 911 center in Chicago. When they did that, I went to that when I was head of county jail. And the reason that we had me come in there is only because we would get consistent data complaints and making sure that they were followed through. It's not that I need to be in charge of it. They wanted somebody to have all of these things so one person could be a point of contact with CalCom. You know, so we can ask the mayor. We had the mayor over here. I had him over here for a discussion one day about this issue.
Okay,
I will certainly try to set up what you request. I mean, I have no problem.
I mean, because we had them for over a year now. And yes, there are bugs in the system, but we're not Chicago. And I'm just saying, we need somebody to be held accountable for all these complaints. I'm sure people that came up here to the podium made complaints about the dispatch service. So all I'm asking is, you're saying that, you know, basically you just have a few things wrong, and I'm saying it's a major problem because I've had a lot of people ask me about that. And it was one of my neighbors called and came to me and told me, and we stood outside waiting. So I just wanted to, it's not you don't work for them, you reported what you saw. I'm just asking, can we have some type of, you know, checks and balances?
Well, the check and balances, Chief has been calling capers and other people. I was certainly trying to get people out here, and he's responsible for staying doggedly on that communication issue with those things in the car. The people are, you know, I can tell you this, be very reluctant, at least from CalCom's point of view, to come over here and be grilled. They don't mind making a presentation and asking questions. That's what they told me from the mayor's point.
But they don't want to be grilled?
Well, you know,
I mean, because that check could be, you know, I mean, seriously. If you're paying for a service, then you should get something, at least a question. At least if someone asks you, you're paying them all this money, you have to suck that up until, you know, but in the meantime, check didn't stop. So all I'm asking, can they come and at least give us an explanation? Because it's not about capers, it's not about the software, it's about the communication. It's not, I didn't say the software was not working, I didn't say anything about that, you know, the cars and the computers. I'm talking about the people actually on the phone talking to the residents and saying and asking questions. That's all.
We've gone over this enough. Get a hold of CalCom and see if they can get in here. All right? Any other questions or comments?
Hey, W. We just said that all the police department radio communication is up and working.
The computers is the last thing, and the chief is going to report on that.
So that means that they're going to start working with the fire department and all their stuff up there.
Yes, we got to get that.
We want to get that, they're going to start. That's the next phase.
Well, that's what I'm pushing for. You're
I don't know
that
that.
a couple times, right? We'll go back over here. Okay? I need to talk to him about that, so we go back together.
We need to talk to the fire chief and together. We need to get that up and running, sir.
I know.
All right. All right, reports to trustees, board committees, beautification committee. The beautification committee held their flea market craft show on June 4th. Had 24 vendors for this event despite the rain. Still had people come out and shop. The committee would like to thank Public Works for setting up the event, Trustee Jones for the use of the community center, and all the donors, Rob the Meat Market and Dyer, Calumet Bakery, and Lansing Shack and Down Tills in Sharonville, and also a big thanks to all our vendors who made this event a success. I'd like to thank Smith's Farm for leveling the bricks over by McDonald's sign and planting a massive amount of flowers at the location, as well as the sign at 394. Thank you to both of us for planting the sign on Torrance Avenue and Route 30. Both these farms have adopted these spots for the last 5 years. Thank you to Southland Voice for adopting the police department for the last 2 years. The Beautification Committee appreciates these 3 Adopt a Spots contributors. The committee will be meeting tomorrow, June 15th at 10:30 a.m. here at the Village Hall. The committee is always looking for new volunteers and members. If interested, please leave your name and number at the Village Hall, and someone from the committee will get back to you in this report. Go to Parks and Recs Committee, Trustee Jones.
Summer camp has kicked off, and it's been a pretty good turnout and working out some of the bugs, but it's overall running pretty smooth. We always can use more volunteers for any upcoming events. And concerning the camp, and this is something that I would like to be on and up for discussion in the next meeting. And this is the discussion of some type of barrier or retainer around that detention pond. There was a child that shot straight inside of it in there and was submerged in the water. I brought it up once, I brought it up twice, I brought it up 3 times. Luckily, the child wasn't injured and everything's okay as of now. We need to prevent any injury, and we should make sure that this is taken care of before July leaves. We have a $6,000 that could be used toward building some type of rollout fence or something to at least slow small children down from running directly into that pond. Luckily, the water's been low. It hasn't rained in a while, but I really want to make sure that this is in the minutes because this is very important and we should not sidestep and think anything differently when we concerning the children. It happened. No one was injured this time. Do we keep ignoring it? I hope not. I hope we can get a resolution to this as soon as possible. Can we please put this up for discussion in the next meeting? That concludes my report.
Trustee Burgess, Public Works.
Mr. Mayor, I looked into that over there, that issue.
We can talk about what we discussed at the meeting. I'm not going to go into it. Public Works, but.
Thank you. We had our meeting last Wednesday, June 8th, and we had some things that we talked about. There were other complaints from the residents, and I just want to share a few of them because a lot of them made a lot of sense. Residents were asking why they were being fined for long grass when vacant properties on both sides are not kept up. And then this one person stated properties not taken care of lower our home values. They were talking about the parks, they were talking about the kids being safe, and they were talking about the condition of the streets and fire hydrant flushing. So this is something that the residents that came out and also those that submitted complaints, because Parks and Recs does have a website. I'm sorry, not Parks and Recs, Public Works has a website. And these are some of the complaints that were on there. We tried to answer some of them, but a lot of them we had to refer either to Kevin or we had to bring it here to the board and have discussions, especially when it comes to finding someone for grass and other grass on either side is still tall. So those are some of the things that people are really concerned about. We did explain to about the air strippers and about having reverse osmosis in your home, the positive and negative things about reverse osmosis. So I just wanted to let you know that we did talk to the residents. Like I said, my meetings are open to anyone. It's on the second Tuesday of the month here at 7 o'clock. And our next meeting will be, quite naturally, the second. We will have a meeting the second Wednesday. I don't know why I said Tuesday. Second Wednesday around July, so we will have one there. And that concludes my report.
Just real quick, I just want to cover one thing, is the ticketing of the address. Just because you have a house on both sides of you, and there's a vacant, those tickets are getting issued to the banks or whoever they can find owns the property, so tickets are being issued. The other thing too is we do know we've got some vacant properties. This last week I gave the approval for overtime on Public Works to cut non-village property, just like we did last year. So probably starting next week, they'll take volunteers will work overtime, and they'll be cutting grass. You'll see them cutting vacant properties, just like we did last year.
You said volunteers, you mean volunteers for public work?
Public works.
Okay.
So it's union. So.
Yeah.
All right. Move to Housing and Intergovernmental Committee, Trustee Tates.
The Housing Committee recently met, and we're finally getting back on track. We were off track on having our second new homeowner workshop, and we had one last year, and we had some people that contacted me and said they did buy homes in Sauk Village, so that was positive. We had planned a second workshop to address more people that want to participate, but that was derailed because of the orientation or presentation we had from Sparks, I think it was Sparks GLX, who were talking about having these modular homes built in Sauk Village in a range of $150,000 to $190,000. And that threw off our having a second workshop because the people we had contacted were specifically designed to help low-income individuals to buy existing homes in Sauk Village, which in return reduce our rate of unoccupied homes in Sauk Village. So that was, we thought, was more positive than talking about building a modular home for $150,000 when they can certainly buy one of the existing homes for under $30,000 probably. So we're back on track for having our second workshop, and I'll have to give you the date as soon as we lock in a date with the presenters who are going to come out and help us move that program along. The second part of that is the IGRC committee had our meeting, and we discussed putting some type of presentation together to discuss the community service block grant program. And you've heard about that, and you've heard about grants being applied for $400,000 and all this good stuff. We are putting a program together to give you some background on how CSBG works and who it benefits. So that's going to happen. Unfortunately, we have not done that in this type of environment during one of our board meetings, so all of our residents can understand the program, how they could benefit from the program. So we're going to try to put something together to help and do that. The committee did attend the Intergovernment Committee Partnership Teamwork Committee that consists of representatives from the municipality, the school district, and the library board. All three of these are taxing bodies in Sauk Village. So we did meet and discuss a number of activities to get involved in, which are going to have to be coordinated through Parks and Recs because they involve the children. One of the things we discussed was having a bicycle rodeo this summer for the young people. Prior to that, we're going to do bicycle registration, and they want to do that during the corn and dog roast. But usually, Trustee Jones, they will contact you and give you details of that. But they thought it would be an excellent time to do bicycle registration and then kick off having a bicycle rodeo for the young people. In conjunction with the corn and dog roast, they also want to have a movie. It would formerly be called Movie in the Park, but the plan is to do it in the community center if possible, to show movies during the corn and dog roast where the children and adults can come inside, watch a movie, go back out and eat 12 hot dogs, and then come back in, and that type of thing. So they'll be talking to you more about that. The library informed us that they're having a reading group program they're going to sponsor this summer. I think it's a good thing for our young people who need, I shouldn't say need, who are going to learn to read better or something to keep them active. I'm not sure how the program works, but we will be at the library. You can contact Nan Wargo over there and talk about the reading group program they're going to have. Kevin Rowe is not here, so Mr. Fairman, maybe you can pass it on. It was our understanding that the village purchased a large tent or canopy a couple of years ago, which they would like to have access to for the corn and dog roast, because they want to set up stations, especially for bicycle registration and other activities. So they wondered about the availability of this canopy or tent or whatever it is that Public Works is supposed to have to set up so they can conduct their activities under that shelter. One of the major things that came up, and it's kind of resurrecting what was done years ago, and that was getting our students IDs. Years ago, the school district used to provide student IDs to all the children, which helped for their identification should they get abducted or anything horrible happens to them, or they just need a good picture. We're trying to find out the cost of that. There is a cost for it because the school district doesn't do it anymore. At one time, the school district, they did it themselves. They would take the pictures, laminate it, and make ID cards, but they don't do that anymore. So the committee's would like to try to take on that task and do it, and start with the children from pre-K, which is Wagner Elementary School, through Strasburg, that age bracket. And Wagner ends at the 5th grade. So they want to get student IDs for all the children that attend those two schools. And it's going to take money, so they're talking about fundraisers so they can sponsor, because the teamwork committee, the IGC teamwork committee, does not have any funds. We don't collect funds or anything like that. So they're talking about fundraisers to raise money to pay for these IDs for the children. As that develops more, I'll tell you more as we get further into that. And I think this benefits program. I enjoyed it, doing that for our children years ago, and I think it's something that we let drop, that we can probably institute, and they're going to try to do that. Now, for our housing IGRC meeting, we meet on June 30th at 6:30 p.m. This is the location. For the partnership committee, they will meet on the 13th of July at 3 p.m. And we had our last meeting at the library. I think this next is going to be at the library, but I definitely will tell you more. Yes.
At the fire station.
Oh, okay, good. The 13th of July at 3 p.m. at the fire station. That's the next intergovernmental committee partnership committee meeting. And that's what we're going to discuss some more about preparation for the corn and dog roast, ID, bicycle registration, all that good stuff is going to be discussed at that time. So I'm sure you can, if you can come out and listen, figure out what is being done for the community at large and what's going to benefit our youth. And hopefully make parents feel a little easier that your bicycles are registered, and your children have ID cards and all this good stuff. So those are things that are upcoming. I will give you more details. I was hoping that the chairman for that committee would be here tonight, but she is not. But we'll give you more information about those committees and those activities as they develop on. But the target date is set for the corn and dog roast which I think is the 12th of September, 17th of September. So everything is centered around that day. So the canopy, tables and chairs, that kind of thing from Public Works are going to be needed so they can set up and carry out their festivities. And the library, I think, is also going to work with the plan group to come out and consider handing out books as they did at the Easter egg hunt. So it's going to be a great event as we're hearing it and talking about it. But it's going to take volunteers and everyone's effort to get involved to make sure that it's a successful program and that we just don't drop it and forget about it for another day, another year. So come out, volunteer, help us if you can, in whichever way that you can, so that we'll have a successful event. That's all I have from Housing and RGRC.
Thank you, Trustee Public Safety and Orders Review Committee, Trustee Mears.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple items tonight. First, we start off with the nasty stuff. What's going on the asbestos removal from the PD and community center? We had supposed to, the last thing I heard, we did, we're going to get the Cook County Health Department out there to take a look at it. Or we're going to bring in a specialized person to take a look at it and tell us exactly what we ought to do. And then there was a holdup on a permit. Has the permit been initiated yet? In the county?
What happened? We have to pay for it. That's the bottom line. That's what we're waiting for the budget to approve, and now what we submitting what we have to pay for. I mean, what it costs the board.
Can't hear you.
That's something we need to find out. The other thing, next Tuesday night, I'd like to be put on the agenda.
Well, you know, we have an estimate for it. We'll just be submitting for it to the budget committee to review and push it on to the board. You have some,
We've already approved the budget,
Right.
so just go ahead and do it.
okay.
And then if they want to vote for it, they can, but it's already been approved.
So we're going to proceed with that, get the permit. I can't see it can't be that much on the county. To us.
2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
That's just for the permit. So
I think we have enough inspectors and we know exactly where it's at and how.
yeah, we've already got a quote for it to be removed. Kevin's got it. I think Kevin provided it to the board.
Okay.
So Trustee Tate requested it. So
Yes, but I had questions for him, and he did have his documents in front of him, because the document's questionable. So, and I wanted to address those with him at the last meeting, but he didn't have his materials with him, so he couldn't refer back to it. But if he comes to the next meeting, I still have my question, we can still discuss it.
you're off all day. Just go over to the next one.
Excuse me, sir?
I thought you were retired.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Send that paycheck.
Moving on. I'd like to be put on the agenda for next Tuesday night to present 3 ordinances to the board pertaining to the part-time police officer. The towing, there's been a couple division change in the towing ordinance, and the line item that another trustee and I like to see will be discussed about how we make sure we make a line item for the towing fees go through everything. And then we'll see where it's out. You guys, next Tuesday, we can discuss it and then we can go from there.
Right.
And the last thing is, Chief Deputy, you said you're going to check on that on the how soon we can try to get our stuff up, all the radios and stuff on the computer. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Right. We trustee move to Neighborhood Watch Committee, trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things. First of all, I want to remind the residents that we meet every second Monday of the month at the fire station at 7 o'clock. If you're interested in being a part of Neighborhood Watch, you want to just come and find out what's going on, we encourage you to stop by our meetings at the fire station. Also, I wanted to report that at our meeting yesterday, a lot of block club captains had a lot to report about different things that's occurring on their block. One of my block club captains, especially over in the area where Carroll and Peterson and 217th Street
they have a lot of vacant homes over there. They are also concerned about the high grass of the homes that's owned by the bank that's not being cut. Also, they said that they had an incident over there the other day about 5 o'clock in the morning. Some kind of raid went on or arrest went on, and it really shook the whole block. And they want to know, Chief, if there is some way that maybe they can know when it's resolved, or not what's going on per se, but like they ask each other, what was that? What was that? Is in your report? Cool. Okay. Moving forward, also, neighborhood block captains talked a lot yesterday about squatters, and I have some information for you, Commissioner, with the housing, just to hold them to give you. One in particular, Block Club captain shared a story with us that she owns some properties in Sauk Village, and she's in and out a lot because she works. And one of her properties, she went in to do some work. She noticed that there were clothes there, babies' toys, and pillows and blankets, and that her resident was actually being used by squatters. So she decided she was going to take some bleach and pour it all over their clothes and all over their items to let them know they were not welcome there, because she's called, she said a couple of times before the report, squatters been getting in her house. When she came back in another week or two, they had bought some new blankets and new toys and moved to another room, to a larger bedroom upstairs. So she was like, what am I supposed to do? I tried to discourage them by pouring bleach on their stuff. They moved to another bigger room and bought, groceries to put it in the refrigerator. I was like, call the police. If you see any suspicious activity, call the police. I just want to encourage all residents, if you think somebody's in your house, if you have properties in Sauk Village, don't go in there, because you don't know who could be in those houses or what's going on. Call the police. Even if there's no one there, if you feel that you see the back doors ajar or windows up or something is different, she said, I could even smell if they have been trying to cook and they smell like bacon. I'm like, finally, another story the Black Club captain shared that I want to share. They not only broke in her house, but they took some of her clothes and took a shower and cooked them some food. They know that they go to work every day between a certain hours, so they broke in while they were gone. They had time to steal clothes and went in the refrigerator and got them some sandwich meat and made them some sandwiches. I'm like, we got some hungry criminals. What is going on? So I'm making light of it, but it's really not a light situation. These people are watching your houses, residents, and I'm glad that this is being videotaped. When you leave your house and go to work, some criminals, they go to work. They know what car you drive. Your husband drives the red car, you drive the blue van. The blue van is going, okay, she's gone. The red car is going, okay, they both gone, let's go in. You have to have neighbors watching your house. That's what neighborhood watch is all about. I encourage you to talk to your neighbors on both sides of you, in front of you, and behind you. That's the system that we use. That way you always have 4 people watching your house, and you're always watching out for 4 houses as well. That's just a little safety tip. And we're going to be having a meeting with all of the business owners and the school administrators, as well as the church pastors and leaders, with our safety seminar that we do once a year, and the chief is going to be our guest speaker. That's going to be on July the 1st, right here at the Village Hall at 10 o'clock. This will be our 2nd annual one that we have. And finally, I want to say that we are collecting school supplies. If anyone has school supplies and have made pledges that you want to make a donation toward that project, you can drop them off here at the Village Hall during regular business hours daily. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Budget, Finance, and Community Relations Committee, Trustee Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee will meet Monday at 4 p.m. here at the Village Hall. And the Community Outreach Partnership Committee will meet next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. And just a reminder, we will be discussing National Night Out, which is August 2nd. And that's a Tuesday. We will not be having a board meeting that day. So if anybody would like to be participating in National Night Out by setting up a table or anything like that, please contact myself or the village clerk so we can make sure that we have enough tables, enough space available.
That's August 2nd, right?
August 2nd.
Okay. What's the time?
5 to 9.
5 to 9. Okay. All right. Move to reports to departments, committees, and commissions. Fire Department 911 Commission and Chief Sauk.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Over the past 3 weeks, Fire Department responded to 39 calls. 4 vehicle accidents, 12 fire alarms, 11 medical assists, 1 brush fire, 6 assists to other agencies, 1 pole fire, 1 dumpster fire, 1 transformer fire, and 2 CO lines. And that ends my report. Let the police chief have a word for time.
Oh, is there much you need? Please swear amendment, please, Chief Kowalski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. I'll start by, for the period between May 24th to June 14th, the police department had a total of 66 arrests for 900 calls of service, a couple of cases of note, before we get into some of the other issues. On June 1st, our detective division conducted a prostitution sting operation. The operation netted 11 arrests for prostitution, 7 arrests for promoting prostitution, 3 arrests for driving vehicles or vehicle offenses, 1 outstanding warrant arrest, 1 drug arrest, and 10 vehicles towed. On June 8th, as Trustee Washington mentioned, our officers, along with Stager PD and the South Suburban Emergency Response Team, executed 2 separate drug search warrants. One was at the 1500 block of Jeffrey, and one at the 1700 block of Carroll. Drugs, drug paraphernalia, and cash were recovered. There were numerous arrests made at both locations. Our detectives built very strong cases at both locations, as well as gathering information from those individuals that live in the area. So that was very helpful. We got numerous calls, especially on the Carroll one. So it was successful. So that should slow things down a little bit over there. Sad to note, on June 8th, our officers were on patrol and observed 3 males in an altercation at St. James Park, 223rd and Torrance. Officers observed the male on the ground throw a handgun from the area. Officers learned that the offender on the ground shot at the other individuals who had to tackle him to stop him from shooting at anyone else. The officers took the offender into custody and found him to be a juvenile. He was 16. The detectives were called and they contacted the state's attorney's office for filing charges against the offender. The state's attorney approved attempted murder charges and aggravated discharge of a weapon. The offender was transported to the juvenile detention center and is being held pending initial appearance. On the environmental side, we got on that right away. On June 16th, Mold Solutions Regional Manager conducted a cursory inspection of the police department basement and upper level areas. The manager took several air quality samples in different areas of the basement and upper areas of the department. The samples are being sent to a lab for analysis, and the results should be furnished to us by Wednesday or Thursday of this week. The next logical step in this process would be to hire an environmentalist to conduct an in-depth analysis of the police department and make recommendations for remediation to clean whatever mold and asbestos is discovered. We'll be working with Robinson Group on this matter. Our blueprint plan, we're currently working with ComEd and provided them the addresses of those individuals who have not paid their water bill. ComEd will be discontinuing service to those homes who do not have active accounts. So we're moving forward on that too. On a kind of a nicer note, or a better note, everyone's familiar with our K-9 officer, Fredrickson, and our K-9 Falco, who helped out the Stager PD. And their chief sent a very nice letter, which I'd like to read and share with everyone here. It says, "Dear Chief, I would like to briefly share my department's appreciation for the K-9 services provided by K-9 Officer Fredrickson and his partner Falco. They assisted my officers with a narcotics interdiction traffic stop and played an essential role in providing officer safety tactics along with locating narcotics and hitting on suspected proceeds from illegal narcotic sales. As a result, a suspected drug dealer was removed from the streets and is currently incarcerated facing felony criminal charges. We appreciate the professionalism and support that was extended. I feel it is critical that local police departments share resources in order to better serve our communities in a time of need, especially when struggling with limited budgets. Please extend my appreciation to K-9 Officer Fredrickson and K-9 Falco for their professionalism and dedication. Thank you again for permitting this service. If there is ever an opportunity that the members of the Stager Police Department can help, please do not hesitate to ask." Questions?
Trustee?
Trustee?
I have just a concern, a big concern. Blackwell Captain's asked this question yesterday. I wanted to bring it up to the chief. If someone comes to the police station, is there someone there that can address them if they're in harm's way? Like if somebody's chasing them, if somebody there in the street and there's a fight and that they run to the police station, is there someone there 24 hours?
As you well know, we no longer have dispatch, but there is a call box. And when they hit that button, they'll answer it. And all they have to do is, yell help and they'll dispatch somebody immediately.
Okay.
There's always somebody who's going to be close by.
Okay, and then, I'm sorry, for the fire chief also, is there someone there 24 hours? So they can't come up until what time?
6 in the morning to 6 in the evening.
So at 6 in the evening, there's no one there. They was just asking about safe havens within the village. They brought up an incident where someone was in trouble in that area, and they seemed like they were trying to run to the fire department. They just wanted to know what were the safe havens in the village, where could they go if the altercation broke out over a woman fell unsafe in her car and was routed. Is there any place where they could drive and there's somebody there that can help them, either the fire department or the police department? That's what they wanted to know.
I've got somebody there 7 days a week, from 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening.
Okay.
We have to be out on a call, there'll be somebody there to report on.
Okay, I'll let them know. Thank you.
I would recommend they go to a lighted area and call 911 on their cell phone. So my son and I were on the highway and observed a bad crash. We were in Indiana in the middle of the cornfield. We called 911 and it bounces to the closest, dispatch center. So if they're in dire need of an emergency, just have them, roll up their windows, lock their doors, go into a lighted area, and call 911 and let the dispatcher know where they're at.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee?
Chief, on another subject, does it take a police officer to register bicycles, or can a committee member register a bike?
It's a good question. I don't see why a police officer would, you just need somebody to verify the bike.
Well, don't you guys take those and put them in a separate file and look them up whenever you hold down?
I know Sherry and Sherry and her crew here, if I'm not mistaken, do they register bikes? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay. Well, that's like dog tags. They take the dog tags here. So why wouldn't they take bicycle registration?
Thank you.
Chief, just a couple things is, the doors that we put on in between there, so if someone does have a problem, they can ring that,
Correct,
and
and they'll open the doors. They'll buzz them open.
Yeah.
Right.
So the doors are buzzed, we spend a lot of money for those,
Right.
safety doors.
Right, and they'll buzz them open, and then, once they close them behind them, they're locked.
Right. The other thing too, I'd like to thank the department for all the work that they did on Carroll Avenue. I know I received multiple calls. And I drove by there the other night, a lot of complaints I was getting was the amount of people selling drugs and on the corners and things like that. I drove by there at night and the neighbors were back out in front of their house. And the building up of people were not sitting in these vacant homes. So I think it's a clear message.
There's one family that, in particular, that I talked to a lot, that very instrumental, and they were very helpful.
I know they got to the point where they said they couldn't even go outside, so I drove by there at night. It's good to see families back out in their front yards and everything, so thank you very much. All right, move to Finance Director, Director Mohan Rao.
Thank you very much, Mayor and the Board of Trustees. I have 2 items. Mr. Fairman referred about the ICE grant that is for $35,000. That is for the Street Lights Program Foundation grant. To thank Mr. Kevin Weller, Public Works Director, for help in intermittent and internal report as well as the final report. He was helpful to generate those kind of reports. I should thank him. The next one is the audit has started. The auditors came in on June 13th And they will be here for 3 weeks to complete the walkthrough. And after 3 weeks, they will work from their home offices and will get back to me with any additional information they need from me. The third one is, I should thank the village clerk, Ms. Debbie Williams, as well as the housing commissioner, Mr. Gary Halcombe, they were very instrumental in order to get that 7% cost and loss elevation for the tax levy purposes. They were very helpful and they were very instrumental. The Cook County accepted 7% cost and loss ratio, and we will be getting a little bit more than what we were anticipated for. The next one is the police chief requested me to open 3 bank accounts that is mandated by state of Illinois, and we have opened 3 bank accounts, and also chief turned in about 3 bags of cash that will be deposited either tomorrow or day after once the bank accounts are functional and opened up. The tow fund bank account will be opened once the tow ordinance or resolution will be passed. So hopefully will be next week or moving forward. The other board meeting, which will be in the next or another 15 days. Once it is approved, the bank account will be opened and cash will be transferred over to tow fund account. I have not transferred for May and June cash yet. Once the accounts are functional, I'm going to transfer the money back to tow fund account. Illinois Office of Comptroller's local debt recovery program. The cash is coming in. Of course, it is trickling down. It's not a whole lot. It's about $1,000 to $1,500 on an average every week. It is coming in, and that ends my report.
Thank you, Mohan.
Mr. Mayor, question. Mohan, I didn't understand. You said you're going to open up 3 separate bank accounts, correct?
Yeah.
And whose names are going to be on these?
It will be, one is drug seizure fund, the other one is money laundering deposit account. Chief will provide the details.
So, if you don't mind, I'll explain. So, when you forfeit money under the state of Illinois, you have to have 4 accounts. So you have 2 holding accounts, one for drug seizure money, because there's an appropriate way to spend drug seizure money, and one for money laundering money as a holding account. And then when you file the paperwork and the state's attorney office approves it, you send the money to the state, they get their percentage, and they will send you your share back, and you put that money into a spending account. So one spending account is for drug seizures, the other spending account is for money laundering seizures. And there's different rules and regulations for all 4 of those accounts.
Okay, because I'm looking at drug seizure, which we should have had money all the time anyway. We should have had a drug seizure.
We did.
Okay.
We actually have 2. We have a state drug seizure fund, and we have a federal drug seizure fund.
So are we opening up a new account?
We went to a class, and so we found out that we needed to amend how we were putting our drug seizure money on the state level.
Okay, because that was a question. The next one, you said you have a drug seizure and a separate account for money laundering.
Correct.
Okay.
You have to have both. There's 2 different sets of rules for spending drug seizure money and spending money laundering.
Absolutely. Now, then you have a spending account. I presume that that's for buying or whatever we have to do that is incorporated with the drug seizure and with the money laundering, correct?
That's the money that is received back from the state.
Right.
Once the state takes their percentage of the money.
Now, my question was, whose name are going to be on? Whose name is going to be on the account?
With the checks, the checks or the account signers will be mayor and the village clerk and the finance director.
So it'll be the same as general.
the request will come from Chief of Police as to what exactly to be spent on. Once I get the request, the checks will be issued or money will be transferred appropriately.
So the money that comes in will be on a separate account, or someone will monitor that.
Correct.
Okay, and then also money that's spent on that, would that go under, will we have a line item under our accounts receivable? Accounts
No.
payable?
No, it will not be because it's a separate cash account.
So we won't know how much is going
It
in
will
and
not be
coming out?
because the police department will monitor that one.
No, the state will monitor it, trust me.
Internally, the police department will monitor, of course. Over and above, the state will monitor.
Well, the reason why I'm asking, we have the same signers on that account as we do on our general fund account.
Yeah,
But on our general fund account, we do have people that monitor, and we do get a report on that each and every, every 2 weeks on accounts payable. I was just wondering the checks and balances for these two accounts, well, 3 accounts that we're gonna open, who is going to be the monitor of that? You said the state's gonna be, but we're still using the same people. That's why I was just wondering.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Director Rao, welcome back. When you were last here, I had asked for copies of the documents concerning the purchase of the computers and also the software.
Sorry,
Can I
totally forgot.
receive that?
I will, most probably by tomorrow, I will give you all the copies.
Now, since there was some difficulty in getting this stuff operational, do we have to pay someone to install or to work out the bugs? Is that an extra cost?
Yes. It is monitored by
I'm sorry, repeat it.
what was your question? I'm sorry.
Okay. We purchase computers and we purchase software. And there's been some problems in getting this equipment to operate properly. So my question is, did we have to pay someone to work on this and get all the bugs worked out?
Yes, and we have been paying Gerald Pike, our computer consultant, to take care of everything.
Okay, is that a cost, that's a separate cost, but he would be paid for
Yes.
normally?
Yes.
Okay,
In
do we
addition
have a
to
separate
the-
invoice for that?
Pardon?
Do we have a separate invoice
Sure.
for that?
Sure.
Could I have that also with the other
I
documents?
can provide.
All right, thank you very much.
Question.
Trustee?
Mohan, I had asked also a couple of months ago about when we went to IML and all of us received $300 to go to IML, just for the purposes of checks and balances. If everybody had turned in their receipts, the cost savings initiative, if the mayor was pushing, all the elected officials went, the village administrator went, Mr. Fairman, except for Trustee Myers, he didn't attend. I'm just asking, did you get receipts back from everybody? Whoever did spend the $300, we were supposed to bring the money back or the receipts back.
Trustee, I was telling the mayor and Mohan, we should tell you that outside of the board meeting.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Well, we're not here, and I don't know how to say this any good, to get into, making people embarrassed.
Well, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. I didn't ask for names. I just asked that all of the elected officials and all the people that attended. I mean, I am very transparent with Neighborhood Watch. I tell every damn I raise. When I'm having tag days, if I have a play, whatever I do, I tell you, I raised $1,000. I raised $800. There are committees here that have their own bank accounts. I don't know what they collect in their bank account. Nobody asks questions about their bank accounts. I actually have a bank account for Neighborhood Watch. I was told I couldn't have one because we want to have money ongoing for the program, the different things that we want to do. So if we all got $300 and this, Trustee Myers, is it an ordinance? Was it an ordinance about that?
I'll answer that question.
No, hold on, excuse me. If it wasn't an ordinance, I know that the mayor specifically said that if our mates go, they won't cover mates anymore, but we were all allowed $300 to go to IML. And we were supposed to bring back the money or the receipts. And I'm not asking for names to embarrass anybody, but they always want to know whatever the neighborhood watch is doing. Let's just be equal. Let's have transparency on the whole board. If did everybody bring back their receipts? That's all I want to know.
We'll have more to put something together and get it to you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Trustee?
Trustee Washington, I have not submitted my travel yet, so I am one of the individuals.
Thank you, Trustee Taser. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just asking because I'm not whether I submitted man or not too, but I just, if it's fair for one, even when it's down to the senior center, whatever we do in the village, let's just all be transparent and let's just all be equal. That's all I'm saying.
And the bank recs, for what? Because we established one. The bank recs don't come to me, they're in my name, and they come right here to the finance director. He gets them, and they have been FOIA multiple times. You can continue to FOIA them multiple times, because all we're gonna do is give you what we get. We only use the bank account for events, and the balance stays the same for months on end. So just, I don't know anybody else up here has a bank account, but if anybody's referring to public relations, you know how to FOIA. If you don't, I'm sure that the FOIA department can help you with that. But I don't even get it. It's straight here to Village Hall. So, and I would assume that anybody who has a bank account, the same thing should be happening. That their bank recs come here and they get filed, right? I don't know how the finance director files them or whatever, but gets the envelope, I didn't open it, I didn't get it. And it goes straight here, so I don't know if that's the same as everybody else, but just in case anybody else is wondering.
I appreciate you saying that because it was asked about $300 that we spent for the play, for the meal that we had at the community center. They wanted to know where was the incoming money they spent $300 for Neighborhood Watch. I don't even know if anybody even asked about your bank account and how much you got coming in, how much you have going out, if they even want to know. So I'm just like, let's just keep it all transparent. Ask about all the money. That's why I'm asking about IML. Whoever didn't turn in their receipts, no reflection on nobody, I think we should all be accountable and be as elected officials. If that's the rule that the mayor set in place, and we all supposed to govern by it, everybody that didn't turn in their $300 receipt should turn in the money that they have left over.
All right, thank you very much. Move to Sauk Village Homeland Security Agency Director, Assistant Director, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board of Trustees. Over the past 3 weeks, it has responded to 18 calls. The department responded to 6 fire alarms, 4 vehicle accidents, 1 brush fire, 1 dumpster fire, 2 school patrols, 3 assist other agencies, and 1 transport department. And so is my report.
Thank you, sir. Move to Human Relations Commission, Commissioner Frank Williams.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, sir. Move to Housing Commission, Commissioner Gary Holcomb. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. Couple of things here. Number one, this year is the first year in the last 3 years that housing hasn't cut the grass. The grant finally ran out. But I would like to bring forward, we cut 100 homes a month, twice a month, for 5 months at a cost of $6,000 a month. Over the summer, it ran us $30,000 a year. If you have Public Works cut the grass, which I don't see how they'll be able to, the number of homes we have vacant, when they do cut the grass, how are we going to select which ones they cut? And the other thing is, they need to police it before they cut it, because last year they blew up one of the tractors going over a fence to the high grass, and these yards have tires and everything. The last thing I have is Housing Commission is still accepting letters for vacancy on the Housing Commission. That ends my report.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee?
Mr. Hooker, how many openings do you have for housing?
Pardon?
How many openings do you have?
One.
One. And also, you stated about the grass cutting. Mayor said that he approved overtime. did anyone come and ask you how much you, I'm sorry, not you because it's not your, but how much it would cost? You just stated now how much it would cost. I don't know how long the Public Works will be doing this, but last year, did you do all of the vacant homes?
No, we were never able to do more than 100 homes twice a year, twice a month. And that was at a rate of $30 per home, and it usually took about 2 hours. And we had residents that signed on to do it.
So that was 30,000 for just last year, correct?
Correct.
And you only got 100 homes?
Correct. Twice a month.
Twice a month, but you still only got 100 to get them all?
No, and presently there's between 350 and 400 vacant homes.
I don't know, Mayor, if we can get that many from Public Works.
Well, Public Works picked up homes last year, so Housing Authority was doing 100, of course, their funding ran out. Last year, Public Works was working overtime doing the same thing, picking up homes, so.
I mean, between the, I'm just wondering, I don't know if he's soliciting or asking, or are we going to look any further than just Public Works? So we're going to look to housing to have them help, or can they help? I don't know about the.
Their funding has run out, there's more funding.
Okay, so
Our funding expired. We had it for 5 years, but the government around canceled before we used it.
Right.
Okay, so then I don't know how we're going to pick the homes, because if they're.
I think usually what they do when it comes to picking, they hit the main thoroughways. So you've got homes like around Sauk Trail, Torrance. Your main thoroughways are usually the ones that they try to hit. If they can get into some of these extra homes, then they'll get into some of these other ones.
One of the things we are looking more over this year, because of the number of vacant homes in the whole south suburbs, Cook County has almost tripled the amount of SWAT teams 7 days a week. And the chief and I and JW have been working with the sheriff's department. And all the homes that were torn down, they'll be maintaining those properties plus adjacent properties.
Okay, that's what I was.
We hope, the county is hoping to be able to cut at least 100 homes once a month.
Oh, okay, and you talked to them already about, okay, there were some homes that are really, really, really bad. The grass, you can't even see the house. Pardon me?
I've got safari tickets.
I mean, they are really bad. I'm just wondering, because you're right, if they don't police it, people can throw garbage or whatever, and by the time that blade hits it, it scatters all over the place. So, but I don't know how we can do it unless we throw some money into that.
Well, the thing we discussed was the main thoroughways, like the mayor said, the main areas, and we try to keep everything around the schools because the summertime, summer school and all that, any activities around those properties. And we're aggressively going after the banks. As a matter of fact,
Okay, that's
Friday, was it Friday? We finally received confirmation from the total last week of 21 banks that are taking care of 84 properties.
Okay, yeah, that would be the next thing, because it's a health hazard too. And that's why I can't understand people that live next door to these homes don't just cut theirs and cut next door too before it gets to that point. Because right now it's really bad. I mean, I've seen them, and I don't know, they're gonna have to have a sickle or something to get out there and try to knock that grass down.
I know the house behind me, I cut, I got to the point where it's getting really bad. So I went.
Is someone living there behind you?
Yeah, someone's living there.
That's why I saw somebody living there.
Well, it depends when you go, if they're living there or not.
Okay, I'm just saying, because I did drive around there, and there's a lot of homes.
Gary, don't leave yet.
There's a lot of homes that, and this is to the residents too, though, Mayor, that if they had that problem, I mean, they should, because we can't get to all of them, but I know I wouldn't want to live next door to that, and if it is, they should come up here to the village and submit and say, hey, I can't, or what can we do to do something like that? That would be a nice thing we thought a little change into.
The thing I would suggest is the board look at as a whole, maybe furnishing money. It would be cheaper for us to hire residents to cut grass than public works at county.
Well, the only thing about it, though, is the liability that comes to that. So if they go too far and then they're working for the village and something happens, now what?
Trustee.
I just have a question as far as if that's possible for the neighbors to do it, because I know that
Yes.
some people have done it,
I did it.
and they are tired of doing it, but other people, I know that on my lawn, I was gonna mention it to the chief later, because we have a house that's, you mentioned the safari, there's plant life that I've never seen before coming out of this house, out of the house, on the ground, and the person across the street cuts lawns. And he was told that he cannot go over there and cut it. He said, I know this personnel, so I didn't know that this was something. He asked me about it, and I said, I don't know, I'll bring it up today. But there's been a vehicle parked, and I've asked about this before, there's been a vehicle parked in that lot, in that space since January. And I just recently saw today, it was broken into.
Let me tell you something, sometimes the grass gets away from these residents. They may have a little small push lawnmower. They're not able to do it. They get discouraged. The next thing you know, they're getting tickets from the village. You know, sometimes you need someone just to go over and cut it. And the house behind me, it got pretty high. You could even see, you know, higher than the fire hydrants. I went through and I mowed the grass for them. And I can tell you that, you know, they came out, the kids came, I did it right around at the end of school, so the kids had a half day of school. I remember seeing them, the parents coming out, and they got bags, and they picked up all the large amounts of grass, because I mowed it with a bush hog, because it was so high, there's no way they got their lawnmower. And since then, if you go over there, they've kept the grass down. It's just that first time that a lot of these people, a lot of these residents need help the first time. So and again, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to go, they don't have a bush hog, but they may have a sickle, or they may have a weed eater. They can go in and help them get it down far enough so that they can get their push lawnmower in there. But again, they get to the point where they get discouraged, and they get to the point where they say, there's nothing I can do, and they just throw their hands up. Sometimes they need that little extra push. Now, if you go over and help someone and they say, we don't want you helping us, then you say, okay, and you go away. But I don't know anyone that's going to turn down someone that's willing to come help.
This is a vacant, so we're saying residents can go and mow vacant lots, because he said he was told not to, and that's why he asked me if there was an ordinance against it or what. That's what I would ask tonight, because I honestly I didn't think that there was.
There's no ordinance against it. It's all about, it's your neighborhood, and it's helping your neighbors out. And if you have a vacant home, what it's going to do is if you help take care of it, it's going to help keep the criminal elements away from the streets, away from your area. So, you know, I encourage residents that if you want to do some work in your neighborhood, you want to help, especially in these vacant homes. Because, you know, think about it, criminal element goes through and they look for stuff like that. They look for areas to hide. If they know there's a vacant home there, if there's high grass, it gives them a spot they can hide from the police. This takes all that away from them. And it's the same thing, it goes back to leaving your outside lights on at night. You know, have your lights turned on at night on your house, front and back. That discourages criminal elements in your area too. If you have additional lights on your house that faces the vacant homes, leave them on. It's a small price to pay to keep something from happening within your area, your neighborhood.
Chief, I'll get with you later to tell you about the house, because like I don't know what it got broken into, I just noticed it today, but the car's been there, it just needs to be towed.
And that ordinance we're working on next.
Just my question to Mr. Holton, on these vacant homes that has a abandoned vehicle either in the garage or sitting on a driveway, is the housing authority
We have the
authorized?
authority, we got the authority this past week, and that's what the chief is talking about, but we need to implement an ordinance for the village to just move on it. But we do have permission, and the county has furnished us with a salvager that will pay the village $125 per ton per vehicle they remove and destroy. As far as other people cutting lawns 3 years ago, because it was, the grass was such a problem in Cook County, the Cook County Board unanimously voted the Good Samaritan Act for cutting grass on a property that doesn't belong to them.
The towing the car, you
Once
guys came
the
to.
ordinance is in place, and you, the mayor and trustees, sign it into rules, the chief has already been contacted, and we know which vehicles to tow. And to answer Trustee Williams' question, there's 34 cars.
Oh, there's a lot more out there than that.
Right. We're going to work with legal on that. So we'll get that to you shortly.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Hearing none, move to senior committee report. Senior committee report. There's a fraud alert now to security at retail stores in Worcester by chip-enabled credit and debit cards, making it hard to counterfeit. Criminals are ambushing ATMs. Illegal card reading devices are being installed on ATMs, gas pumps, and other public area machines that process debit cards. Using an ATM at a bank is more secure with their 24/7 camera surveillance. Next, all senior ages 50 years young are invited to the senior committee open senior activity and every Friday from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Coordinators Steve Shimkus and Frank Williams. Thank you for all the work that you're doing there, getting the game set up. There's no meetings, no membership dues. Just come have fun with your peers. Light refreshments and bottled water is served. Let's see, last Friday, 4 more seniors joined the Rummikub, right? Rummikub, sorry about that. What's the problem with that one? Similar to the Rummy game, card game challenge. The game is very addictive. There are many other games available, plus computer, TV, and we have our library program. Several seniors have expressed an interest in having an open senior activity once a month on a Saturday with a potluck meal. Senior committee has approved the Saturday event while watch for finalized details to be announced. The Bloom Township annual senior picnic tickets go on sale Friday, July 1st for Thursday, July 4th. And the Sauk Village Bluegrass will be closed Independence weekend, Sunday, July 3rd, and for vacation, Sunday, July 17th and July 24th. So that is the senior committee report. And move to new business. 6A, ask for a motion to approve all accounts payables and disbursements for May 24th, 2016 through June 14th, 2016 according to Sauk Village policy. Is there a motion to approve? A motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion and second. Any questions or comments?
Question.
Trustee.
I was looking at the accounts payable, and at first I wanted to congratulate that we don't have immediate checks that were passed through consensus voting. But then I looked on the last page of the report from, I guess, Mohan, and states that these hand checks are to be pending approval. Okay, but if you look on the first page of the accounts payable, it says they were already paid. So which one is it? That's my first question. My second question: who was Slayer law officers for that amount?
Slayer law officers are for the TIF number 4 professional expenses.
They work for TIF number 4?
Yes.
I thought we had Baxter and Woodman that work for TIF.
No, Baxter Woodman are engineering consultants.
Who?
Engineering consultants. Slayer is attorneys. They are legal consultants.
Okay, and they're working for, is this money coming out of our? TIF 4 only, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But, and obviously it was already paid. Pardon me?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, and then the backflow preventers and the Republic's yard stickers, those are already paid. They had to be paid right away?
Right.
And then it says at the back of your page that the check date, I'm pretty sure that's a typo. It was 1900?
Yeah.
Oh.
January 10th.
Sorry, that's it. I'm sorry. It is June 10th.
Pardon me?
June 10th.
Oh, June 10th. 2016, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If you paid it back then, I'd like to see you sign that check. But no, so these entries that are on here on the first page of accounts payable, like I said, I was going to say okay until I saw that, but these were already paid and without the consent. So are you asking now for it to be paid and consent to that? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you do know that I'm not gonna agree to pay something that was already paid without the consent of the board, so I know that's.
And again, remember, we're approving it according to those policies, so.
What's that?
Those policies.
What's the pay without page, okay, did you get a consent?
You got Republic Services for $675.
Yes.
That's because we ran out of waste share stickers.
Okay.
So we had to buy stickers so people could buy them, right, at the front desk?
Okay, but who gave the approval?
No.
I mean, who?
For $675?
No, for $1,315,000.
1,300 backflow, is that for the streets?
That's the backflow, but that's testing.
There are 4 invoices in CBI. 2 invoices refers to the water department and 2 invoices belong to general building.
And why couldn't they be done under the regular accounts payable?
Because the invoices were supposed to have income last December. For some reason, Kevin did not get it on time.
Okay, so it was not our fault.
Otherwise, yeah.
It's not our fault, correct?
It's not our fault, but still, it has to be paid because otherwise they wouldn't do the RPZ testing. That's the reason we had.
And we just found this out. The reason why I'm asking more is, if this was something that because we test every year. The backflow preventers are there, so when they do test it, water doesn't flow back into the system.
Yes.
So that's what they did, but all they did was come out and check the backflow preventers. That's what they're doing. They're not purchasing, they're just checking them.
Yes.
But my question is, if we knew this, why couldn't this be on last month's accounts payable?
No, we got it on June 1st or June 2nd or something like that. That's the reason we had to pay. I mean, for them to conduct the RPZ testing, we had to pay.
Okay, I'm just wondering why we you know. So
There
no one was
some problem
contacted
with
except the
ones-
mayor. No one knew about this except the mayor, yourself, and Mr. Fairman about this. I'm just wondering who out of the 3 or the 2 gave the authority to pay this, because it's something that never made it to the board. This is what I'm asking, because I was going to say that we weren't doing that anymore, but then I saw this, so.
There's a lot here to make the board called payroll. So
Pardon
we
me?
pay payroll according to budget. We pay our bills according to budget. So payroll was done prior also. So
But Mayor, payroll
in
is
fact,
an
payroll on
obligation.
here was made on 5/27. Payroll here was made on 6/10. So you've got approximately $300,000 worth of payroll that was made prior to the village board voting on it also. So I don't understand your point. Again,
My
what we
question-
did was bills were paid according to policies. That if we need to pull out the policy again, I guess we can pull the policy back out.
I don't need you to quote anything from me. I'm asking you that payroll is an obligation that we know we have each and every 2 weeks. We know this. We know that we have liabilities each and every 2 weeks. This is something that we didn't even know about. Mohan just stated he didn't even know about it because we didn't pay it back then. But then when we get something that's important at that time, we don't even let the board know that we're getting ready to pay this kind of money out for whatever reason. Just go ahead and pay it, and we'll catch it on the back end, and then ask someone to okay a payment that's already been paid. So it's got nothing to do with payroll. I don't know why you're talking to that. You have to state statute. This has nothing to do with that. I'm asking why we keep paying money that you don't even get the consent of the board or consensus. Now, if you call some of the board members up and ask for a consensus, okay, fine. If that's what happened, that's what happened. I don't like it, but that's what happened. This happened without the consent of the board or the knowledge of the board. But don't quote and tell me about payroll. Payroll, we know about payroll. I've never voted against payroll. But there's some of these things here that we just find out because we have to use what we knew about it. We knew that we had to get our backflow preventers tested. We know that. But for us to have to pay that, that shows us that we're not looking at everything we should be looking at. And then when we get behind the 8 ball, we start borrowing again. So I just asked why. We knew we were out of stickers when we got the last one out the bag. We knew we were out of stickers. But to go to the last meeting, we had a meeting, we could have said, okay, guys, we need to get vote this money out because we're ran out of stickers. I hope we don't do that when it comes to typing paper.
Hold on, I have a question for you. On page 4, general account number 21020076800. Item number 1737, it's under board up. Why is the fire department paying board up?
It was the board up or on behalf of the fire department? The costs were incurred on behalf.
This is the
of
first
fire
time since I've been on the board that all these fires that we was always informed that we had to secure from our, let's say, a young adults from going on getting hurt, that we have to secure it before we leave this premises. So now you are charging all the board up to the fire department. Because these are the let's see, the one Peterson fire was arson, the one we had insurance that came through that, gave the number, turned it all over to the office manager. The one Peterson fire was semi-truck ran through the middle of it. That was all turned over and they had the name for it. Why are we paying for board up, sir?
The cost of the fire department unless and until the board come up with other solution, they can transfer it back to wherever you guys want it.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it, is you're right, that the fire department requested for these to be boarded up. Then we go through the fire department. If we're going to file it through the insurance, as the insurance pays it, that money will reimburse the fire department, correct?
Correct.
So the money's still being spent. They have to get the money reimbursed. So either we do it through the insurance, we do it through the liens.
Once the insurance company, if they come out, normally it's a vacant house with the last 3R, 4R. So we do have to go into court, which I think our village attorney is working on one now. And we do get the bill back, or I believe it is, because well, there's a couple of bills out there, let's say $3,000-4,000. That goes back to the general fund on the fire department. Is that what you're telling me?
Go back to the fire department.
Okay, Chief, you heard it. When it comes back in, it goes back to the fire department general fund.
And what I would do is I'd make sure you follow them on.
We're going to make sure of that, sir.
Because again, you paid for it because you requested it. But as the insurance pays, if you're in court battles, some of these houses are stolen by banks. You contact the banks, and there's money should go back in and be reimbursed inside your budget. Now, your budget's going to show that you spent more, but it should show that you received more because of these board ups.
So you are the mayor. You are instructing the fire department to continue to secure these properties where we won't have people after the vacant house that is burned out and in severe condition. We are to secure these property after the fire. Is that correct?
That's correct. You guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Question.
Trustee.
Mohan, the $6,000 that we were going to use for the fireworks show is back in the general fund? No. I'm just asking because
it was removed. The budget was removed from the general fund according to the board and the board's and the decision.
so it's in the budget, of course, but I'm asking, is it allotted for anything else since it's not being used for a fireworks show? Or what? I'll talk to the mayor about that later.
So, you're talking about the $6,000 for fireworks that was part of the budget?
Yes.
It's still under the line for, is it contractual services? The $6,000 that was for the fireworks is under contractual services under Parks and Recs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's where it's at.
Okay, so it has to be used for Parks and Recs.
Correct.
Okay.
I have questions.
Trustee?
Director Rao, this is at page 1, and under the general fund administration. And when you go down, it says underwriter safety and claims payment for $5,083.
Those are the third-party insurance we are obligated to pay for the claims reimbursement. Underwriters and safety and claims, they work on behalf of the village of Sauk Village, and they try to negotiate the claim, insurance claims, on our behalf. For the cost, what they incur, we have to reimburse them as a third-party insurers.
Okay, on the same page, if you look down, and I've asked this question before, and I'm not sure I can remember. It's under general fund, and it says elected officials, fire and police commission. Okay, fire and police commission are not elected officials.
I know, but the cost center is elected officials. The cost center comes under the elected officials, that's why.
Okay, but anyone from the general public would think the elected officials are spending this money, because it says elected officials. So you don't have any place else that you could put this instead of charging to elected officials?
Yeah, no, it is under elected officials, that's why I have, there is no choice for me, it is under the elected officials. That's why I have put it in the same form.
Strange, but okay, page 2, and I'm looking at, again, on the general fund, and I'm looking at Gus, Box, Ace Hardware, lawnmowers.
It's a lawnmower purchase for grounds and building department.
A brand new lawnmower was purchased for them?
Yeah, one was broken, that's why we purchased a new one.
Okay, same page, toward the bottom, general fund, police department, Secretary of State drivers, suspension of driver's license.
For the suspension of the driver's license, we are obligated to pay $10 fee in order to the Secretary of State suspend the license. So we have to pay for it.
Was this an employee?
No, it is one of the residents.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
One of the residents who had 6 or more tickets.
Okay.
And our collection agency initiated the termination of the license for the driver. So for that, we have to pay $10 fees.
So someone had their license suspended?
Yes.
But the village pays?
Village has to pay for that one. Because he had an outstanding 6 or more tickets that needs to be reimbursed to the village of Sauk Village.
I just think it's odd that we're being held accountable for an individual's actions. If they got the tickets, which make their license suspendable, it's just confusing to me on why we're held financially responsible for their actions.
Chief, can you respond to this?
We'll get the money back when they go to court and they get fined. So we'll recoup.
That's if they pay the fine.
Or the comptroller goes after their wages.
Nevertheless, the village is out of money.
$10.
Okay.
You know what? That's Jesse White.
Then why don't you pay $10 and then we...
Why don't you talk to Jesse White? Go talk to Jesse White.
Okay, well, no, I don't have to talk to anybody.
Okay.
I'm asking of this board on why we're being held responsible for someone else's actions. And you said it's the Secretary of State.
That's the Secretary of State.
And that's fine. May I continue to talk to him? Or do you want to talk? Okay, if it's the Secretary of State that's initiating this, I don't see how they're billing the village for an individual's actions. Please let the mayor talk.
No, I'll answer this. It is it's the state. So we got billed for it. If you don't want that person's license suspended, we don't pay the $10. They still go to court. They're still going to get fined, and when they get fined, we get money. We recoup the money.
But if we don't pay the $10 and they get fined,
they won't get the suspension, and it'll be a
why do we care if their license gets suspended? That's all I'm trying to find out.
I think what's important here to realize is, number one, it's $10 to suspend a license for someone who has an excess amount of tickets. By having someone's license suspended, they don't have to worry about just getting pulled over in Sauk Village. They get pulled over anywhere, and they'll be pulled over with a suspended license. Now, No difference than what we do when it comes to putting liens on people's houses. We pay to put a lien on someone's house. We pay to have someone's license suspended. As they go to court, as they pay for the liens, as they pay for their tickets, that money is all reimbursed.
Why do we care that someone's license has been suspended?
Because you may have someone that has multiple tickets that decide to go ahead and move out to Alabama or somewhere, and when they get pulled over there, they'll get arrested, and we'll end up getting our money back here in Sauk Village. So that's one way of going after the money, rather than having to try to pull over someone just here in Sauk Village.
No, I'm still, why do we care?
Because the village has money coming to us. We know that we have what?
No, we haven't paid the money yet. We haven't paid the money.
But we haven't been paid, yes, you're right.
So why do we care that the license has been suspended?
Because the amount that someone could owe us could be thousands of dollars.
Oh, my God.
So six tickets, you know.
$600.
$600 each. So if they had 6 tickets or in excess of 6 tickets, you start adding up what the amount is. You could get to thousands of dollars for a $10, for the village to go $10 and have a license suspended. So that we can have that individual get arrested anywhere in any state. To go
So we're talking about tickets that are issued by Sauk Village.
Could be Sauk Village? It's money that goes to the village.
Okay, we hear every month about people going to court and not paying their fines. That happens all the time, and it seems like it's the majority of people that go to court, for some reason, don't pay their fines. So, if they don't pay their fines, why do we care if the state takes their license?
I explained it, I can explain to you, if you can understand it.
No, I can understand if you explain why we care.
Go ahead, Trustee Rich.
So basically, what happened was, this individual, whoever it was, had tickets that were due to the village. Because we gave them multiple hearings, come to court, give us our money, blah, 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 the recourse we chose to take as a village was to contact the Secretary of State to suspend their license. Because if they get pulled over or whatever, it's gonna happen, they have to suspend their license. In order to reinstate, and I've never had my license suspended, so I'm asking this question. In order to reinstate your license, you have to pay those fines?
Correct.
Okay, so the reason, I think the reason behind it is, we suspend our license because us telling them you owe us however much money is not like you say, they go to court, they don't get the fines. So we're saying, this is another recourse. We're gonna suspend your license. We contact the Secretary of State. We say, we want you to do this. So they say, you have to pay us $10 and we will do it. That's what the $10 comes into. So resident X, who now has a suspended driver's license, gets pulled over, we'll use Alabama as the mayor stated. If they get pulled over in Alabama, if they want to get their license reinstated, they have to pay us. The people who said, we want your license suspended, they have to pay us whatever X amount of money they owe us before they can get their license reinstated. So it's kind of one more extra step to maybe, hopefully, if they ever do get pulled over, that we wouldn't get our money, because right now, keeping to issue a ticket is not getting us paid. So I think it's just one extra step to make sure that we receive the money that we're going.
But we're using village money to track down one person violating the law. A driving law on that.
Well, I don't know, right, but in that case, we don't know what the other tickets were. So I can't look at it as, if the mayor says that they can be up to $600
each.
$600 each, if there's 6 tickets, that's $3,600. So we're spending $10 to get possibly $3,600. Plus, is the $10 included in that? Chief, do you know? Is the $10, so if they do in fact owe us $3,600, does the $10?
There are court costs.
Okay, so whatever cost we can incur, which would be including this $10 fee would be added. So the $3,600 might end up being $3,900 or whatever, but they would have to pay if they wanted the record completed, they would get their license reinstated.
Correct.
Okay.
See, everyone's making the saying that $10 is irrelevant. It's only $10. What the heck? Why do we care? We care because it's taxpayers' money that we're bailing out. We're bailing out an individual who's violating the law. So we're an accomplice.
How are we bailing them out?
You're telling John Doe citizen If you want your license back, you gotta pay your fines, and you gotta pay $10 for Sauk Village to be happy.
This is other than a monetary issue. This is a public safety issue. If we don't process, that's a processing fee by the Secretary of State. We don't process, they find out they were stopped here, and they go out and they kill somebody, guess who they're gonna sue? The Village of Sauk Village.
They're gonna sue whomever they want to sue. Sauk Village is not responsible for an individual who has suspended driver's license that decides he, pardon me? Show me the state law that says we're responsible for somebody getting their license suspended for reckless driving or whatever they did. That is the individual's responsibility. Driver's license are issued to an individual, not to a municipality.
All right, what else do you have?
Go to, Mr. Rob. If you go to the next page 6, and I'm looking at the utility tax fund, middle of the page. Could you explain that? That was paid to Nancy County Library.
That is the utility tax reimbursement for the library. The library board, the library district is not supposed to be taxed. They are tax exempt. They are requesting a tax refund, whatever they are paying.
They're tax exempt, but they were, it's the tax bill.
That's why.
From the county, correct?
We are sending it back to
Is that the portion that Sauk Village received? They were taxed X amount of dollars.
I know. These taxes were collected from the water billing. From the water billing, what we bill the library, we are reimbursing it back to them.
Excuse me. All right, thank you very much. Excuse me, Mr. Mohan, on your tax bill, on your water bill, you have that entry that says UT, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's utility tax.
Yes.
Okay, what you're doing is, they also receive, on their water bill, UT. Okay, what you're doing is reimbursing them back the UT.
That's all.
Okay, that's all, because we're not collecting it for them from the state. That's what we're charging, is we charge the residents. Anybody gets a water bill, we charge them the utility tax. So what we're doing is reimbursing them the money that we charge them because they're tax exempt. That is not that it's coming from the state, it's coming from us. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because everybody's looking. No, that's the money that we charge on the tax bill and we pay them back. I think it's quarterly. I think that's a quarterly payment that we're paying back the taxing body because they're not supposed to be taxed for that utility tax.
All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I think we have a motion in a second.
I do have, I'm sorry, because I want to have this motion amended or rescinded until we can take off because I don't want to vote for something that's already been paid. So we can take off the amount that's been paid. I have no problem voting yes, but I do have a problem voting yes on money that has already been paid. The media checks have been sent out. How can we stop it? If we say no, it's still paid. So why do we have to vote on something that's already, I already gave you $10. What, I'm going to get it back from you after you spent it? No. So I don't need to have a motion, Mayor, to pay something that's already been paid. I said this over and over again. Can we amend it to pay accounts payable that has not been paid? I have no problem with voting yes on that, but to vote yes on something that was paid already, I don't want to be part of that because when everything comes down, we've talked about this before with our auditors, that that's why we shouldn't have a lot of media checks. So I would vote no if that's included in there, but if it's not included in there, for the record, I would definitely vote yes.
But just so we're clear, is the motion on the floor is to approve accounts payable and disbursements for the months that
Yes.
May 24th through June 14th.
Yes, and that's why I asked him to have
According to
it.
Sauk Village policy. So Mohan, I guess.
I asked can we have the motion rescinded?
So the policy is followed. So this is again, there's a motion on the floor and there's a second. If there's nothing else.
So we never rescinded the motion before, Mayor? We never rescinded
We're
the
going to
motion?
roll first.
No.
Jones? Myers?
Yes.
Davidson?
No.
Washington?
Yes.
Yes. Trustee.
Yeah, I know that it's been passed out multiple times, but just because we have this conversation every third or fourth round table, can the board have a copy of the budget finance policy? Just to make sure, and it might be helpful if the finance director brings it to every board meeting, because I know that this was a vote that was not a unanimous vote, but regardless, the policy did pass, and it's part of our policy of the village. And we can't keep going back and forth looking at the policy. It's there, it's what it is, and I don't want to keep going back and forth with the finance director, making sure that he has to second guess his job. So if we could just if you could just email it, if that might be easier than printing it out and putting it in those boxes. If you could just email it to the board, just so they have it, and then maybe bring it to the board meetings from future from now on.
Trustee, and Mayor, I'm next to speak to trustee. In your policy that you're talking about, it does state that anything over $10,000 has to go through the board.
There you go.
Anything that's, you just cannot pay it has to go before a vote. This was paid without a vote. That's why I asked to have it removed, and that's why I voted no. It wasn't about salaries, and it wasn't about anything else. On your policy that you guys wrote up, it stated anything over 10 grand had to come from the board and had to be voted on. So
we're done with this.
I'm sorry.
We let go freely, but we're done with this.
Mayor, we've done.
Item B, we have a
Mr. Mayor.
committee report. Trustee,
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee, you know how Robert's rules of order is.
Okay, but I wasn't through. You can't tell me when I'm through, but you cannot tell me when I'm through.
Motion to approve.
I'm still asking.
2016. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, I'm still asking my question.
Is there a motion?
We've done this over and over again. We voted on something that did not need to be voted
Trustee, the
on.
vote has been taken. It's over.
And I have a question about it.
There's no
And
question.
Trustee Washington, Trustee
Show me
Williams.
Robert's rule of order. You have a right to ask a question.
Robert, I was making a
The
statement.
question time is already over. So it's over and done. The vote has been taken. We don't.
Mayor, this is 2016. This is not 1929. I asked a question.
Sir, you are out of order.
I had the floor. You gave me the floor, Mayor. I asked the trustee a question, and you gave me the floor. But he has to understand that. But the mayor has to understand. This is you, the mayor. Yes, you are. But until you act like one, I'm going to continue to keep doing. I asked you a question. All I did was ask you a question. I was referring to Trustee Williams when she made the statement. I was saying, we've done this. How many times are we going to keep saying, we'll pass, we'll get at it again. We'll get at it again. When are we going to stop that? I'm not out of order. I still have the floor. I didn't relinquish the floor, man. You said Robert rules of order. When you recognize a person on the floor, they have the floor until they relinquish that. That's Robert rules of order. That's Robert rules of order. I know the book front and back. That's Robert rules of order. Until they relinquish that floor, they have that floor until that time. Let's research that. Only thing I asked was when are we going to stop doing this?
Friday or what?
It's not a joke. It's not. I don't play. This is not. We're not up here trying to be kids, Mayor. This is not a joke. This is people's money. Mayor, you think $10 is nothing? Be asking people out here about how much they think their money is. This is not a joke. I'm not trying to grant. I'm trying to do what's right for the people. I get out there and talk to them, and they ask me. Maybe you fly down Jeffrey for a few minutes or something, because I haven't seen you over there, and I'm over there all the time. But, pardon me? I'm not out. Read your book. You always talking about new research. Read your book. Next week I will bring Robert Rules of Order here and show you. When you relinquish the floor, then someone else has to. When you recognize a person.
Policy says you can only talk about something, and you can.
Policy. I'm not talking about. You said Robert Rules of Order.
You are over.
You talking about Robert Rules of Order.
The ordinance
You're not gonna make a rule as you go, not with me. You're not gonna make a rules as you go. Just because you pull it out there means that
Pass
happens.
the ordinance. All right, so
You don't want, you want somebody to respect you, but you don't want to give respect.
Motion to approve the committee meeting minute for May 17, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second? Is there a second to approve? All right, so we'll go to item number C. Motion to approve board meeting minutes for May 24th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? We got a motion, is there a second? I'll ask again, is there a second for May 24th? Hearing none, motion fails. Item D, motion to approve executive session meeting minutes for May 24th, 2016. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call roll.
Jones. No. Myers. Tate.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
No.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. Item E, motion to approve Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program Local Assurance Resolution. Is there a motion to approve? Got a motion, is there a second? Got a motion and a second, any questions or comments?
Question.
Audience, please. Trustee Burgess.
Mayor, as we spoke last week on this, and as was told to us that we have to front the money and then we wait for the reimbursement, for that reason and that reason alone, no. We don't have the kind of money to front anybody. We got to try to front ourselves first. So until they come up with a better solution, I'm not going to pay something and wait on the state. We've done that. We're in that process right now, waiting on the state to give us money for our own tax money. So I'm not going to start a new project, don't know when I'm going to get paid, but I'm telling people out here in the village, we don't have money to come over there and take care of your street. No.
Question.
Trustee.
How much exactly was we supposed to be front? How much?
What's that? This is a resolution asking for the funds. We're not upfunding anything yet. So this is a resolution saying that the board is in favor of moving forward with this bike path. Once we find out that the county is going to upfront the money, then there's going to come back to the board and we'll have all information. So this is a resolution that's before you tonight saying that the board is in favor that we move forward with the bike path along Sauk Trail from starting almost at 394 going all the way to Cottage Grove and all the way from Cottage Grove all the way over to Maryburn Drive. So
I'm asking how much? How much was it? It was 1.3 million?
I don't want to say, I don't remember.
But it was good.
You know what? Audience?
Comments? But I read, if I recall, it said $1.3 million. And don't forget, this is a three-way partnership. It was the county, Stager, and Sauk Village. And I heard that we were the lead. I don't know how that happened, but we're the lead. And I asked what was Stager paying. If we paid 1.3, what is Stager paying? And they did not have an answer to that. Now, if you've been watching the news, you know that come July 1st, if the state budget isn't passed, we have a big problem as a municipality.
And I just want to make sure.
May I finish, Mr. Mayor?
Just make sure.
May I finish? So that's why us paying $1.3 million, and if you recall, I think it said we 80% and 20%, but it doesn't say when we get it back. But that's what they're going to pay us. I would like for this board one time to say two words: we're broke. We cannot float money and not know when we're going to give it back. I borrow $100 from you, and I don't tell you when I'm going to give you $100 back. Is that okay? As they talk? Is that okay? No. No. So this board needs to be responsible and say, we don't have the money, number one, and we're broke, number one.
And what about us?
And how am I going to get my money back from the state of Illinois? We can't make the state of Illinois give us money. We can't go to Governor Raumer and threaten to lock him up if he doesn't give us the money. We'll have to wait until they decide, him and the legislature decide to pass that budget and give us money. So because we don't know who's getting our money back, we don't know what Stager's obligated to pay. It's a lost cause. Now don't forget, you have this stretch of 1 block of asphalt on Sauk Trail near Jeffrey, and I heard the back bike path to nowhere or something like that it's called. That's existed for over a year. There are no crosswalks across Sauk Trail, no safety zones to say you can get from one side of Sauk Trail to the other. If this is a bike path, pedestrian path, whatever it's going to be. Now you're going to have another stretch of land, and nobody's talked about marking it for safety. No one's talked about that. But ban that, let them mark it any way they want to. I do not think we should invest $1 into this project. And I hope that answers your question.
It does, thank you.
All right, I just want to make sure I make one thing clear. Number one, the passing of the resolution is not to spend any money, okay? The passing of the resolution is to apply for the grant. Now, if you look at the total cost, you say 1.3 million. I don't remember the total cost. That's the total cost. Okay, there's a shared match that there would be a portion that the village, if we got the grant, the matching portion the village would be responsible for. However, the county has agreed to pick up the municipality's portion, okay? This grant is like any other grant you get. It's just like our CDGB grant money. We pay to have the roads repaired, CDGB grant on the pages. We had the wells installed, we paid the money out, and while the grant money was put back. We've received a commitment, from the county that just says, kindly keep the county advised of the success of the application. Again, this is a resolution saying that we agree to apply through the application process. There's nothing that says that this is going to happen. There's an application process. The county says keep us the success of the application to ensure the program of the funds in the correct fiscal year, so that the county has already agreed to pick up the village's match, okay? Now, this resolution tonight is to go forward with applying for it. The village is not voting tonight to go forward with this. We will later find out if we get the grant, and we'll come back before the village board. There's additional voting that has to go on. At that time, we can say either we want it or we don't want it. On top of that, I received a letter from email today from Stager requesting a letter of, hang on, I just want to make sure I get this right. From Stager requesting a letter. Would you please consider drafting a letter for listed below? Stager is jumping on top of this with applying for the grant, which is out there also, to continue keeping the bike path going from Maryburn Drive all the way to Stager Road. They're applying for those grants also, and they're working with the county for the county to make their match also. So what you would end up having is, if these grant applications are approved, okay, you would end up having a bike path going from Stager Road all the way to Cottage Grove, from Cottage Grove all the way to Sauk Village. So again, the resolution is saying that the village board would like to go ahead and move forward and apply for these, but the resolution does not talk about spending any money when it comes to the fact that if the applications are approved, it would come back for the village board. Now back to another thing, talking about the path going across Sauk Trail. There is markings for that going across Sauk Trail. There is walk, do not walk lights that were included inside the state. So if you go there, you'll see on the south side of Sauk Trail that everything is going to apply there. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands the resolution before you tonight is not the approval of the application or not the approval of spending any money. Again, you're looking at a resolution, you're not looking at an ordinance. The resolution is saying that, yes, we would like to move forward with the process. If the process and everything gets to the point where we do get the grant money, it's going to come back before the village board, and then we're looking at getting an ordinance passed, right? An ordinance would be passed following, which would require approval of the village board. So just want to make sure that we're all understand the difference between a resolution and an ordinance.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Trustee.
I did speak to a couple of trustees. They're on board with their part.
If you can apply for anything.
They meet Monday.
Anything you can apply for that's out there, if it's available, again, it's for the benefit of the residents of Sauk Village, again, it's for the benefit we have a high school there. So, I mean, we've done a study on it. You saw just a few pictures of the kids with bikes in the middle of Sauk Trail. We've got additional pictures with people walking with their babies and strollers in the middle of Sauk Trail. So, you know, getting this path is, everyone wants to talk about safety and well-being. This is hopefully, you know, we can get a grant, you know, through the state, but we have to apply for it first. You never know if you're going to get it. And then if we don't want it, we can always turn it down when it comes time for the ordinance and for the board.
As far as the presentation, I believe that there should have been several other blueprints that they could have presented in a little bit more safer manner, even though it may have cost more. That intersection is not even safe for cars. And if we promote that intersection, you're gonna bring more pedestrians in that intersection. That's a tragedy. I mean, if you wanna talk about safety, in that intersection, if you're not gonna create a flyover where you can walk over that intersection, all bets are off. Walking across there is not, I'm not letting my son go across there to go to Bloom. It's not going to happen. And I done seen cars, trucks honk their horn, light red, go straight through that. And then you're gonna put more pedestrians in that area? I don't think so.
Well, number one, Sauk Trail 394 has already been done, and there was times where they had public hearings, and you probably should have went to the public hearings and voiced your concern.
No. I'm talking what I seen two days ago.
What I'm saying,
when I sit there.
What I'm saying, trustee, is this resolution tonight has nothing to do with Sauk Trail 394. This has to do where they've already finished, and picking up where they finished to go to Cottage Grove to Maryburn Drive.
This is what I'm saying though. If you further it, it's going to give the option and the thought of, oh, we should take that path to go down there to the school. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to take the bus. I'm going to ride my bike instead of. That option shouldn't be on the table the way that design is in that intersection. That's what I'm talking about.
But tonight we have a resolution to say that we move forward with applying for the grant.
Question. I just want to say that I feel that if we couldn't even afford $6,000 for a fireworks show, $1.3 million, how could we possibly afford to pay that and get it paid back to us? We cannot afford it. I mean, bike paths are important, but the water in Sauk Village is more important. People want infrastructure done. They want to see $1.3 million us getting paid back. There are so many things we could do in the village, and I'm just one person. I'm not trying to be on anybody's side or trying to make anybody happy. I'm thinking about the residents that I talk to and what they have expressed to me how they feel. So that's why I asked about the $1.3 billion, and is it for the bike path? And do we have to pay it out first and get reimbursed? Because as we know, money's been tied up in Springfield for almost 5 years now. In fact, school districts are making announcements. If that budget don't pass, they're going to have to close some schools down. So how can we be guaranteed that we will get the $1.3 million back? And if state will love us so much, what if they take the lead?
Trustee, tonight.
That's just my statement, man. That's just what I want to say. That's how I feel.
Trustee, just so we're clear, we're not voting for the $1.3 million tonight. We're voting to apply for the application.
But why even apply if you know we're not going to do it? It's a waste of time.
If the funds are available. Sorry, trustee.
Obviously, there are some contentious opinions on the board. I have one statement. Can we please call for a vote? And should this not pass, can we please contact the people who brought this to us and say that it's done? Because I don't want to talk about this in five more months. We've already talked about this. We've already gone through this before. We had this long, lengthy discussion. And if we're not going to put a bike path, and we're going to continue to have people are going to walk regardless, whether they're bike path or whether they're going on the little Sauk Trail. So the bike path might be safer, but you don't have the money. That's what it comes down to. So fine, if that is the view of the board, then fine. But if we could please just call for a vote, then we can say no. I've been extremely respectful. All I ask is that I get the same in return. If we could just please have a vote so that we can move on to the next item, because have the right to their opinions. It's a yes or a no. That's all it is. And then we move forward. I just ask that if it is a no, we immediately contact the people who brought it to us and tell them that we're done. Don't bring it back to us. I don't want to talk about this in 5 months again. Let's just be done and move on.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee.
All right. We need some type of sidewalk bypass, something that gets from the village down to Blue Trail. I don't know how many times, and Trustee Jones is 100% correct, I don't know how many times that I've seen cars, trucks, everything blow that light. However, you see every day of the week, you go down there, I've traveled over every day of the week lately. You see kids walking down the middle of the road. But what's the heck? They walk down the middle of the road in our town, so no big difference. So the other side, I see, no, we don't have the money. But tonight, you are saying that it is only for us to make application to see if county would pay for it, correct?
Correct. That's correct. If I have the resolution, which everyone else has also, again, it's an application for ITEP funding is to be submitted. The reason we said we have it on tonight's agenda is that all the applications have to be submitted by June 17th. So what we're looking at is we're submitting an application to see if we even qualify or if we're even eligible for this grant. Again, if approved, the village board still has the right to decline. And there would be an ordinance that would come before the village board, an ordinance, right? The ordinance would still come before the village board. This resolution is only allowing the village to apply, submit the application, that's all it is. There's no spending of money on this resolution or anything, or approving any spending of money on the resolution.
Question towards that.
Trustee.
As far as that concerned is transparency. If we saying something right now and other actions take place in the back room or somewhere else that we don't know about, it has happened. This is one reason why I wouldn't want to be put on the hook for $1.3 million, because the lack of transparency, the lack of information that's floating to the trustees is not well enough for me to put my yes on that. It's not going to happen.
If we get the resolution.
So again, we have a resolution for the village to apply for a grant. Motion second on the floor. Village clerk, please call roll.
Myers.
I'm gonna say, again, once again, if it's for application alone, I'll say yes. If it's for money, my vote's gonna be no.
It's an application.
If it's for application, I'll say yes.
It's application only.
Washington.
No.
Williams.
No.
No.
I just hope it doesn't end up on the block, like we voted no before, that all the trustees' names and phone numbers have to appear. I hope it doesn't end up like that again.
This is sad. Item F, motion to approve employees' dental insurance renewal for Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, motion, is there a second? Okay, motion is second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call the roll.
Tate. Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
Yes, medical insurance, yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item G, motion to approve employee dental insurance renewal with standards. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, motion, is there a second? Questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call the roll.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item H, motion to approve employee vision insurance renewal with standards. Is there a motion to approve? Yeah, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call the roll.
Williams. Yes. Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Tate.
No.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item I, motion to approve employee life insurance renewal with standards, or motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, can
We
we
got a
table?
motion and a second first, or are you asking to table?
Yes. Can we table this because the understanding we
We got a
just
motion,
got.
we got a motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, questions or comments?
The reason for it being is we just got this and there's some question about the cost of the insurance. You read it. There's questions about the cost of the life insurance if you wanted to extend it. And I just needed to be able, can we talk to them and find out concrete because what they gave us was very vague and you had to fall in a certain group, you had to fall in a certain age group and also for the spouses. So I just wanted to have another, so I don't want to give, because we did ask that they get the insurance that they can increase themselves, but I just want to make sure that it's done in a proper way, that we just don't give them something piecemeal, that we're offering, I'm sorry, not we, but the insurance company's offering something that's going to be tangible for them and in the long run. So I just asked to be tabled that, and it won't affect anything, it's just their life insurance, well, it will affect if something happens, but it's their life insurance, but they have a way to buy more life insurance through a conglomerate than rather go out and so that was the reason why we asked for this to be done. So that's why I was asking, can it be tabled?
Just remember, they were working on getting us a better price if the life insurance and the dental was both through the same company.
Yes.
So, just so we're aware of the fact, it's going to affect their negotiation power to try to get better rates. There's motion and second on the floor. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Village Clerk, please call the roll.
For the motion to table, Burgess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Tate.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Williams. Yes.
Motion tables. All right, move to miscellaneous comments from the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Trustee Williams.
Three things. Trying to just be notified, when we inform them that we no longer wish to go forward with the resolution or anything about the iPad. Because I just want to make sure, because I honestly, I didn't want to table, we should see that. We're not going to go through with it.
The application date's the 17th, so we're not going anywhere with it. It's done.
Okay. Also, under pending, I know we're under pending litigation with the treasurer, but what was brought out today was that there were second signatures on checks. And I know considering what's under pending litigation, we may not be privy to seeing those items right now. I'd like to know when the board is going to get an update, where we are in the investigation, when we're going to get an update. And as far as, it was stated that one individual signed most of the checks. We need to believe that there were other checks that individual did not sign. I'd like to know who else signed the checks. And I understand that this may not be information we're privy to right now, but I'd like to know when that conversation is going to happen, because I don't know if one individual is still currently with us. I don't know who else was signing checks, but I'd like to know how we're going to fix this problem in the future. And also, items on the agenda, the May 17th and May 24th board meetings that were not approved, those minutes. How are we going to address that, considering I just got a letter from Nina Alvarez saying that we are in violation because the minutes weren't approved within 30 days. So now we have these two meetings that aren't approved because
You sent back to her until the board didn't pass them, so.
So I'm just asking because now I can see this becoming a trend of us not making the motion and not making the second, and then we've got more violations, and so I would like to know from the attorney.
First of all, it was presented tonight. The board didn't pass it.
Right, but because.
It was on the agenda, it was on the agenda for approval.
Totally agree, I made the motion. What I'm saying is, there was no second, therefore they were not approved. Therefore, those meeting minutes of May 17th and May 24th are not available to the public, they're not a public record, they won't go on the internet. So those meetings are not approved within unless we bring them back. Well, this one, May 17th, we're done. But unless we bring it back later on in the month, they will not be within the 30, they will not be within the 30-day time limit that we just saw from Nina Alvarez. So my question is that how can we prevent this in the future? What are we going to do about it? And I'd like the legal, not right now, obviously. If we could just get back to you to see what can we do, because I can really see this saying that Village Court didn't get it done by May 17th, and they were presented, they just weren't voted for.
I think we contact the Attorney General's office and tell her what happened tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
And inform her that we tried passing, the Village Court did not pass, so find out the next steps from the Attorney General's office.
If you could just get back to the board
just a couple of things. For the record, the Anita Alvarez, as was stated the last meeting, I'm the one that filed that complaint. And that complaint was not filed because this board did not approve the minutes. That was not the basis of that complaint. The complaint was filed because minutes that were approved were not disseminated for several months. That was the issue. So it wasn't that this board did anything wrong, and this board should not be made to feel that you did anything wrong. That was not the issue in the complaint, and the complaint that was filed. That being said, I want to go back and address the CalCom issue. Trustee Burgess, you brought it up earlier, and since CalCom came in from the 4th of August, well, they were supposed to take over the 4th of August. They didn't actually do it, but we've had people that come in and complain about dispatch, and them calling dispatch and getting a response. And I can recall at least several times that people came to the board meeting and complained about that. And this past Sunday, I had the first-hand opportunity to see what happens when you call dispatch. There was a hit-and-run accident, and an individual who heard the noise called dispatch to try to get police over. The vehicles were, the vehicle was hit, was not occupied. But he called to get someone sent over, a police officer, to take a report. He was on the phone for about 10 minutes trying to communicate to CalCom. And he started out his conversation by saying, I wasn't involved in the accident, I didn't see the accident, I heard the accident. He's saying those basic things, and they grilled him for about 10 minutes. And he told me, I was standing next to him, that he was gonna hang up, and I said, don't hang up, keep talking to him. But he was frustrated that whoever answered that call at CalCom couldn't get through their head what he was trying to convey to them. So I can see the frustration. If there's an emergency and you try to call to get police assistance, and the dispatcher grills them and questions the person calling like they did, and we've heard that happen before, I can see the frustration. Because if it's an emergency, if it's a life or death situation, then that person just probably will die by the time they get through CalCom. It was utterly ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So I concur with the trustee Burgess that CalCom, and I understand that they don't want to be grilled. I understand that too. But I think they need to be held accountable for the safety of Sauk Village residents. And especially since we're paying, they need to be held accountable. So I would not object to them coming in and give some overview of this. We're CalCom and this is what we do and this is what has happened since August. We need to get an overview of that. And if I recall in the contract, the mayor was the only one that was given total access, if I'm not mistaken, to get records or listen to the video, audio tapes and that type of thing. So I'll leave it there, but I did get first-hand knowledge of what CalCom does not do very well. That's all I have.
Trustee Jones.
Well, Open Gym will be the last Saturday of the month, every month. Always look for volunteers. Contact me anytime. We got a lot of up and coming events coming up. We got the corn dog roast in September. We got the summer camp going on. We're gonna have a football camp this Saturday. Volunteers are very important and needed. And I would just hope that we could get enough that would help Parks and Recs, that would help other committees, that would help Neighborhood Watch, to try to pull people together. And I'm very serious. There's been a lot of joking today. A lot of the reasons why some of the stuff we can't pass and and everything is because there's control been lost. And, but there's a lot of important information that has been said. And I don't want it to get lost in muck. A child's life could have been lost. And it's a serious thing, and also with volunteers, a lot of things can help watch in a lot of the events too. So the more we participate, the safer our kids can be. That's all.
Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to remind the residents to support our local businesses. I'm always in the stores talking with the owners, and I haven't seen a lot of people in the local businesses lately. I just want to encourage the residents, support the stores and the businesses and the restaurants that's in Sauk Village. If you have a complaint and you have a concern about something, the managers are very nice and eager to talk to you. I'm not going to call any business by name, but I've talked to a couple of the businesses, and they're kind of dismayed about the lack of support that they have. So I just want to encourage all the residents, don't forget about our local businesses. When you drive outside the village to spend money, spend some of your money in the village too. Thank you.
Trustee Reyes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I do have something to say. And it's a travesty that we have to do this again. When you express your opinion, and people seem to think that when you do that, you're politicking. It's not a matter of politics. It's a matter that a lot of these trustees up here said about transparency. This is your money. If it goes up or down, if we become bankrupt, who do you think is going to be at fault? The trustees, not the mayor. I don't know why everybody keeps saying it's not the mayor. So there is a need for constructive criticism. That's what it is. It's not because I don't agree with you, so therefore I got a different agenda. It's my opinion, and that's why you have so many trustees and one mayor. That's the reason that you have that. That's why you have that, so you can have checks and balances. Because if you go under, that's it. You have nobody to blame but the ones that spending your money. So if there's questions asked, and if you don't like the answers or you don't like how it's been presented, you know, I'm sorry, but I never thought I would see my name in a paper because I voted no on something that is part of the village. And I didn't think we should have that. But to have your name, phone number, I don't have a problem with my name and phone number. You can have my name and phone number that's where I'm a public official. But everything doesn't go as according to Hoyle, as they call it. Sometimes there are some needs that we have to bite the bullet. We're asking the residents to bite the bullet, to pay these rates, to pay these taxes. And then when they come out and see that you're spending your money recklessly, they come to us. They don't come to the meetings. They come and see you on the street while you're buying this. That's what we're bringing back to the board. What the residents have said to us, the ones that put us in here, the ones that voted to put the elected officials in. But if it doesn't go according to certain people's agenda, then now we're being political. It's not about politics. The election is next year. Right now, we got to do what we got to do with today. This year, payroll and everything else included. I am and always have been a person that's going to make you do it the right way. Now, you may not agree with me, fine. That's constructive criticism, but we need transparency. Every single time, we always talk about we need somebody that's going to be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. Then we ask a question. We have to somehow or another be accountable to the people that elected us and put us in here. And we have to start doing that soon, and sooner than later, because as was stated earlier, we're only we're close. We're not bankrupt. No, I don't want to say that. But we don't have the money to fund certain things. It's a nice to have. A bike path is a nice to have. Everyone has a budget here at home. You might see something that you nice to have, but you got to go with what you can't afford. Simple math. What you can't afford. Bike path would be perfect. Would be great if they do it right. Because I do have a problem with how they're going to do it. Because the path is going to face the street. There's no railing there to deter any type of traffic coming in. So, but that's neither here nor there. It's over with, it's done. But We don't, right now, so we really can't afford nicer halves. We gotta afford what we have to have. Also, tomorrow there will be a town hall meeting here at 7 o'clock. All invited, seems like you have something to talk about? Okay. But it's a town hall meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And hopefully people will come out. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. We've got a few things we're going to go ahead and really follow up on here. First of all, we talked about Robert's Rule of Order tonight. And the mayor's responsibility is to make sure you run the meeting according to Robert's Rule of Order. The way you can look, Robert's Rules of Order is there's a motion and a second on the floor, then there's questions and comments. After the questions and comments, you go for a vote. After the vote, you move on to the next. There's nowhere where you can have additional comments and talk about what was already voted on. That's what we saw here tonight. Again, it was my intention to try to get the meeting back in order. So, again, when I call a trustee out of order, you know, it's to try to get the meeting back in order to where it's supposed to be. There's a time for questions and comments. If you don't like the way the vote goes, your time is to talk during the questions and comment period of time. It's not to talk after the vote's taken. You move on to the next, okay? Tonight, we saw the village board voted not to pass a resolution. A resolution that the village was going to go off and perhaps to apply and submit an application for a grant to make it where it was safer for our youth and even our parents to be able to get from one point A to point B, okay? It was not to spend any money. The resolution was not to spend any money. The resolution was to apply. If we were accepted, then it would have came back before the village board. The village board would have had to vote through an ordinance to approve or not to approve. So by tonight's voting not to pass the resolution, it made it where the village is not even applying for this grant. Again, a grant that was not going to cost the village residents any money because there was multiple agencies that were going to pay, and the county has already sent us the approval that they were going to pick up the village's portion. So it was not going to cost the village anything. So again, the information will get out to the residents, and we'll make sure that the residents get the actual information on how the vote went, and we'll post what the resolution was so the residents can understand that we failed to even try to make our roads safer for our kids. Again, we talk about grants tonight. Based off what I heard here tonight, we might as well tell the fire department, forget applying for any grants because we have no money. Because even though it's part of the budget, we don't have money. Police department, you might as well forget applying for any grants because we all know that once you get those grants, we pay the money out and we get reimbursed for those grant monies. Based off what I'm hearing the board here say tonight, we don't have money. You might as well tell Public Works don't apply for your CDBG grant money this year because we'll have to get that grant money. We'll pay to have our roads repaired and to get reimbursed. This grant for this sidewalk and bike path was no different than any other grant that the village applies for. So just want to make sure I make that very clear. All right, approval of the minutes. There was 2 sets of minutes that were not approved tonight. I'll make it very clear that it is on this board of trustees for approving and not approving. It's their responsibility to go to the village clerk if there's minutes not being approved in a timely manner. This board is responsible, and it comes right out of section 2.06. Says a public body shall approve the minutes of its open meeting acts within 30 days after the meeting. It is this village board's responsibility to make sure that they pass. Tonight, 2 sets of minutes were not approved. It goes right back on this village board. All right. On a good note and in a good note, I went backwards tonight. Sauk Village Fire Association, Firefighter Association is having a car show this Saturday at Advance Auto. So I'd encourage everyone to please come out. I don't have the times written down, so I was working off memory. But it's right over here at Advance Auto. The following 2 months, the Firefighter Association has requested that we have the car shows here. So it's always the 3rd Saturday of the month. I better say weather permitting, because these people with these cars are not going to bring them out if we got bad weather. So the following 2 months will be here at the Village Hall. I've already reserved everything, so everything's set for the Firefighter Association. So if anyone has any questions, it's on the books. Okay? I already did right. Yeah, I'll get the information. I'll get the information to get it out. I don't have the time for this one either, but Bella's Fitness Studio. If you remember where like Old Bonnie's and Old Consumers is, that's where Bella's at. On Saturday, they're having their first anniversary. They're open for a year, so they're asking everyone to come out. I don't have the times for that either, but again, if you go to the mayor's blog, or if you go to the mayor's Facebook page, a lot of the stuff is already on there. And lastly, today was June 14th, so today's Flag Day. So I'd like to wish everyone a happy Flag Day. As you go home, we have a couple hours left, so hopefully you have a great day. With that said, I ask for a motion to approve, motion to adjourn. Got a motion, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.